Good afternoon and welcome into the NECC League of Legends. Kicking it off, new day this year on a Wednesday, but it should be a ton of fun fish alongside Paladino. Getting ready to go here. Northern Illinois and Eastern Kentucky in the emergent Midwest is our first game. And Paladino, we just got the Worlds patch coming out yesterday. Is there anything you're keeping your eye out for as we get into our first game of the NECC season here?
I'm looking forward to, like you mentioned with the Worlds patch, I think there's going to be a lot of changes with what's popular and what teams are opting for meta-wise. I think we're going to see a shift from bot lane being super strong. I think it'll always be strong, but maybe not as the prio focus as it used to be. That's really what I'm looking towards. Obviously, there's some changes with carry tops and carry junglers as well, but I'm interested to see if either of those teams kind of go in that direction.
I think it'll be kind of interesting at your first game. Do you maybe stick on your comfort pick, kind of what you've been playing? Do you try and plot the meta? I think you're right. It should be kind of interesting to see what these teams want to do. Well, while they finish up the pro draft, let's take a look at our lineups for our two teams here, starting off with Northern Illinois. As you can see here, a very talented team. Secretos, Soul Grims, Proto Gem, Shot, and You're Bad, Stay Mad, which is just an excellent League of Legends name, I have to say. There's
It's a
really
great
not
one.
one better holding it down. And I mean, again, not sure how long these kids have been here, but I will say Paladino is someone who watches a lot of traditional sports. You see a lot of upperclassmen on this team, right? Junior, junior, junior,
Mhm.
junior. This is a very, I would assume, grounded team that's probably going to play around their kids who have been in school or very mature for a while. Let Proto Gem, that freshman in the mid lane, maybe have his pop off moment when he can get it.
Yeah, I think it's always good a good sign for any school when you have a lot of juniors or seniors on the roster. You can usually imagine that they've been a part of that team for a long time. They have that chemistry already built up, which makes things a lot easier. But it's always interesting to see someone like Proto Gem come in the mid lane as a freshman and how they're going to gel. And I definitely think you're right that we're going to see some pop off moments coming from him later on as we get into the series.
Well, that's the Northern Illinois roster. Now let's take a look at their opponents. Eastern Kentucky, what they are bringing to the table. You've got DCS, Jumper Gamer, Soren, Happy Meal, and EQ Old Man down in that bot lane. And this is, I mean, almost just the same thing. You've got a senior in that mid lane, so that'll be a fun little matchup. The freshman taking on the senior. Then you've got a couple of juniors and then a couple of sophomores on the top side of the map. So a little bit older, maybe more experienced roster for Eastern Kentucky Paladino. And I really, like I said, I like this mid lane matchup. The freshman going up against the senior. If you're Soren, you don't want some freshman punk beating you around in your first game of the season. So I expect he has a bone to pick. Make sure that freshman he gets put in his place in our first game of the season.
Yeah, I agree. It's always exciting. Like you said, senior into freshman matchup. You can imagine Soren been around there for a long time, knows what he's doing. So getting someone who's new onto the scene should be very exciting. And of course, mid lane, one of the most important roles, kind of dictates a lot, goes around the map. We'll see
Mhm.
kind of how those play styles mesh and how they face off in the 1v1.
All right, the pro draft has just finished, so we should get a chance here to see how that draft all picked out. Again, game one of the season for both these teams. I'm assuming a lot of comfort picks, probably a lot of just OP or counter bans, because again, these teams don't really know how each other are going to play each other. This is a best of three, though, Paladino, so there's some time to adapt throughout the night. And I'm excited to see what these teams pick. You never know when someone's just going to pull out like an Aurelion Soul mid lane, and you're just going to be like, okay, you're never going to do well on that, and then they're absolutely insane on it. So I'm excited to see what these teams have in store for us when we do get into the pick ban phase, when we get into that draft phase. And again, you kind of talked about it. You know, the Worlds patch, what they're going to pick. What lane? I'm going to say, what lane are you keeping your eye on, Paladino? Is there, maybe it's your main role in league? What lane in particular do you want to watch in this matchup, just from seeing the players and just from what you play in League of Legends yourself?
I mean, for me, I'm a support player, so I'm always going to be favored towards the bot lane. But I'm always excited to see those solo lanes as well. Like we said, we don't know much about these teams, and they don't know about their opponent as well. So it'll be
Mhm.
interesting to see, where jungle decides to prioritize, whether it be top, mid, or bot. Who they decide to play their game through. You can expect maybe based on seniority, things like that. You're going to look towards the mid lane, but for me, I think bot lane matchups are always exciting. And I think we're going to see some spice coming out of both these teams, especially like you said, favoring on those comfort picks.
First game should be a lot of fun. I think, yeah, as you said, the jungle pathing is one lane going to get camped. We get to see one guy just out on an island in top lane. It does seem like there's going to be a lot of interesting picks here. Again, they did just finish the pro draft, so we should be able to maybe hop in this game here in just a little bit. But before we do that, I think we might throw it to a quick break. Sounds like we're having a little bit of back end issues. So we'll take a quick break here. We come back. We will have our draft for game one of Northern Illinois and Eastern Kentucky here on the NECC stream right after this. All right, we are back here. Quick client fix, Paladino. If anyone's been playing League of Legends, like I'm sure you and I have for plenty of years, it's one of those things. The client, 50% of the time, it will never open, but we are in it, getting into these picks and bans. Again, we already pro drafted off stage, so again, there might be some weird things where you're banning mid laners, or mid laners are already picked. That's because they already pro draft in pro order off screen. Now we're just getting the picks and bans. We start off here with Northern Illinois on your left side of your screen. Nocturne and Azir bans taken away so far, which are pretty standard. I mean, Nocturne especially can be very strong. Just, you pop that Paranoia and you are anywhere on the map. So, and the Yumi band, I applaud them. I know you're a support player, Paladino. I don't care. I hate that champion.
I hate
That's a
that
great band.
too. I hate that champ too. As a support player, it's even more so. Good band all around. Obviously, Azir's still strong as well. Like you mentioned, the Nocturne. Leona Jax Jinx can expect coming from solo queue. We see from the top lane matchup, first off, it'll be Gnar against Garen. Gnar, pretty common, but Garen, definitely, like you mentioned earlier, probably defaulting on one of those comfort picks.
Yeah, the Garen, I want to say, when I looked at the match history, a lot of Garen being played. Ooh, the Wukong in the Volibear matchup. I know Wukong was very, very strong for a while after that durability patch, and he's kind of taken hit after hit, but he's still a very strong jungler. The Cyclone provides you with just so much to CC. I will say, though, anytime there's an Orianna Paladino, the thing I'm looking for, that BDS, that ball delivery system for the side of Eastern Kentucky. And right now, I don't see a great one outside of maybe Volibear with the ult, but I want something with a bit more engaged from their support things for Old Man to feel comfortable.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think when you're looking at towards an Orianna, you want to build around having a comp that's kind of a death ball, if you will. Just throw them in, get the big wombo combo off, and I would like to see some more engaged. Volibear, not too bad, but we want something a little more consistent for sure. I like the Rakan. Obviously, one of the most iconic clips from competitive League of Legends, SKT, way back when, with the Rakan Orianna combo in the mid lane. One that you're always going to see, and I like it as a more consistent engage. Very easy for Rakan to get in and out, make a fast play. How they'll synergize with a more dive heavy comp with the Kai'Sa, Rakan, and the Volibear around their top laner with the Garen as well. Orianna to provide some more consistent DPS. Not a bad comp from EKU.
Yeah, I think I like the EKU comp a lot. I mean, maybe even if the Kai'Sa lands the ult, you could maybe throw a cheeky shockwave on the Kai'Sa to get some disruption on the backline. I think my big question is going to be what's going to happen around shot for Northern Illinois, right? Gnar wants to go in, land that Gnar. Wukong wants to go in, land that Cyclone. Vex is going to want to go in with the ult. So is Nautilus with the dredge line. Misfortune might just be all alone throwing out a bullet time Paladino. So I'm curious to see if there's going to be anyone back in the backline protecting shot, or if he's just going to have to try and maybe manage his own while the rest of his team dives in.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a game where Misfortune's positioning relies very heavily on themselves. You don't have a ton of peel, obviously. Coming from the Gnar and the Nautilus, you have a lot of engage as well with the Wukong and the Vex, like you mentioned. So going to be very reliant on positioning properly. I do think you're accurate in pretty much having the access to the bullet time. How many autos you're going to get off, I don't know. But if they can synergize that very well, Wukong, Gnar, into Nautilus with a bullet time on top of it, it is a ton of damage coming out all at once.
Yeah, that is going to be a deadly combo. I'm expecting kind of like that Wombo combo, as you mentioned. You probably want the Vex Sphere into the Cyclone, into the bullet time, maybe throw a Gnar in there on top. I am really curious to see how aggressive Solgrim wants to get on that Wukong. He's more of the engaged jungler. I know Volibear can be a very great duelist, but Wukong has a lot of ways to get in lanes early. You use that Warrior Trickster to be invisible. All of a sudden, you appear in the lane. You can throw out some great chip damage. So I'm curious if we'll maybe see Solgrim be a bit more aggressive while the jumper gamers maybe just farming. Always kind of interesting to see how the junglers play, especially with that increased emphasis on objectives, more global gold on the Herald. Added a few patches ago. The Dragons being a little bit harder to take down, so you need some teammates. I'm very curious to see kind of, again, how these teams want to play. It's our first chance to see them. It's your first chance to show up for this fall semester 2022. So after the draft, though, Paladino, which way are you leaning right now in pros of who do you think has the advantage for this game number one of our best of three series tonight?
I think I'm going to go Northern Illinois. I like their comp with the Gnar, with the engage that they have with the Nautilus as well. You have Misfortune for some guaranteed damage on top if they're able to get the bullet time off. I just think it's a little more consistent. My only concern for Eastern Kentucky is the Garen. I don't really know how it fits. Obviously, we know it's a comfort pick. but I'm not sure how well it'll do with the rest of the comp.
Yeah, I think that definitely kind of stood out as the Garen, just a comfort pick. It is going to be very hard for Northern Illinois to match that. It's probably going to require the Gnar to kind of match him in solo lanes. If they can get that Garen ahead, Gnar even will struggle without being able to go Mega Gnar if he doesn't manage the rage properly. So maybe you try and put that Garen ahead. Garen is a solo lane monster. I feel like everyone's had that experience where the Garen just gets ahead and just runs down every lane. You can't gank him because he has such insane movement speed. You really struggle to 1v1 him, especially if he's able to run away and use that passive to heal up. So maybe for Eastern Kentucky, your game plan is put your top laner ahead. He's on a comfort pick. And then just let the rest of your team kind of 4v4 around the map, or maybe even 4v3, as multiple members of Northern Illinois have to go answer probably the Gnar and the Wukong. But I think you're right that Garen is the one pick, sticks out like a sore thumb. And if it goes poorly, it's definitely going to be the thing that I think Eastern Kentucky is going to change going into game 2.
Yeah, it'll be very noticeable, but I do think you're definitely right. If this Garen's able to stay even or ahead, he's going to be a split-pushing solo lane monster that will require someone to match. And who wins in the 4v4? I really don't know. I like the engage tools a lot from Eastern Kentucky. You have the Orianna, you have the Rakan, like we talked about. The Kaisa able to dive in as well off of those CC abilities. I think I like their 4v4 fighting a little bit more, but a lot of it is contingent on what happens up there in the top lane.
Getting ready to go in here for game number 1 here in the Navigators lower mid-east division. It is Northern Illinois. It's the B team taking on Eastern Kentucky White here in our first game of the evening. We'll actually have another game coming up here on the NECC 2 stream later on in the night as well. So today, jam-packed League of Legends Wednesday. First day on the Wednesday. Of course, last year was on Friday. Now we're on Wednesdays, and we're ready to go to get you into that back half of your week with some fantastic League of Legends any moment here. Again, should be an exciting matchup for these two teams. Fish and Paladino are getting ready to call all of the action. And okay, you said you're a support player, Paladino. So while we're waiting, I got to ask, you cheered the Yumi ban.
Yes.
So what is your support player of choice? Because if they're, some supports I hate to play against, so I'm already on your side with the Yumi ban. But I mean, if you're rocking an Enchantress, if you're a Soraka player, we might have some issues. We might have some beef.
No, not a Soraka player. I'm definitely more of an Engage guy. My first champ was Thresh. Moved on to Rel after that. Play some Nautilus, Leona every once in a while. Rakan up there too, but definitely like the playmaking supports a lot more than the Enchanters.
All right, we're gonna get along just fine then. If you're telling me like Soraka, Yumi, I was like, no. I love to play the aggressive bot lanes. I'm right there with you. I love to play the initiators, the engagers. I love myself a good Blitzcrank game. So I'm very happy I don't have a passive support player along my side to call this game. But I mean, and we do have two very aggressive supports. We have the Nautilus, we have the Rakan. I think that'll be a very fun little matchup. Who gets the engage onto who? Does the quickness land before the depth charge can land? I think there's going to be a lot of support mind games from our two support players of who can get the better engage. Let's get going here as we hop into the Rift.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. As it should be a nice change of pace in the bot lane instead of what we've been used to the in competitive play, at least the Zeri Sivir handshake. Nothing really happens in the bot lane. Now you bring out the Nautilus, you bring out the Rakan. Should be very exciting. We see some early action coming out from Northern Illinois, but just going to be poked out there by Soren. Nothing too fancy here. It is game 1 of the very first series of the year. Both teams trying to play safe and make sure they don't give anything away too early.
Does look like we'll have both our junglers starting on the bottom side of the map. Old man roaming up through that tri-bush, trying to get some vision down. Don't think he's going to be able to, so there's really no forward vision from either of these teams. Doing a great job defending those, obvious ward spots, so both junglers should do a decent job of staying hidden. Maybe Proto Gem sneaks one in on this Raptor camp here as the minions collide. Doesn't look like he'll do it. So both junglers should collide. Probably that top side of the map, unless one of them wants to maybe go for a 5-camp, 6-camp start, which maybe Jumper Gamer does. So far, the minions will crash in the mid lane, and we'll get into it, Paladino, with, as you said, not a lot happening in game number 1. Just take your jungle camp and get to your lanes.
Yeah, move slow. Obviously, if you're Wukong, if you're Soulgrims, you want to get that Divine Sunderer proc, or Power Spike, excuse me. and try to be as impactful as you can. You know, at those early levels, even level 3, you can try to make a play. It looks like he'll be going for a 6-camp start, at least heading towards those Krugs right now. Both junglers starting on the same side. Interested to see, you know, both these junglers, like you mentioned, pathing top. Let's see if they try and make something happen there, as we might have some early action in the bot lane with your bad stay mad. Looking in the bush, looking for a hook angle.
No ward there, though the minions kind of give his position away. Shot getting some nice poke damage with that Q bounce. So far, really, they're just taking each other. They're farming up the coins here. Oh, this is a good chance for Old Man, but he misses!
Misses the hook. The root will land and cancel the W, but won't get anything else out. I think he was trying to predict the W early, but good job from Old Man to hold off and not get hit with the dredge line.
Both junglers, looks like actually it was Solgrim who opted for the 3-camp start. So did Jumper Gamer. So don't know if we'll have much ganking action going on the top side of the map, as we see Volibear already onto his red buff, while Solgrim is still on those chickens. So we might not even get a battle over that top river scuttle, where we sometimes see the junglers at least run into each other. But nice pressure, some nice damage from Shot on that misfortune, and I Am Goo also taking some damage, but we talked about this in the pregame. That Garen passive, he's just going to be able to sustain most of that damage that Gnar throws out of the top lane.
Yeah, Garen passive with the Doran shield, he's going to be able to sustain through a lot of it. Even at early levels when Garen passive isn't doing as much work, still very easy for him to stay healthy there in the top lane. I think Solgrim's is kind of unfortunately reaping the benefits of some of the Wukong nerfs that you talked about. The clear is a little bit slower, so he is late to the top side crab, with the bot side crab not taken by anyone. We're going to see an early play here coming out from Jumper Gamer, looking into the top lane on to Kratos. Nothing happening quite yet, as he'll get on out of there. And the Northern Illinois bot lane will go ahead and take the crab. So at least they've got the vision, but that XP will not go over to Solgrims.
Yeah, maybe worried about Jumper Gamer. As he said, since Solgrims is so far behind on his cleared niche now, taking his Krug, maybe didn't want Jumper Gamer to row down and double scuttle his opposing jungler. Not as impactful as it used to be. They did do a decent golden XP nerf to those, but as you said, that golden XP not going to go in Solgrim's pocket. Is it an interesting one? Of course, you have the Nautilus, so you have the innate CC to break that shield on the River Scuttle, make it easy to take. So mainly, that's just more gold in Shot's pocket. That's a nice, 3 minions there. You see Solgrim's roaming up, but he's not going to find much of anything.
Yeah, nothing to find here as Jumper Gamer takes his first reset. Solgrim's just looking around, maybe going to try and make a play there in the mid lane on Soren. Instead, we'll just drop a ward. So far, like we said, nothing too special going on, as they'll clear out the vision as well. The only thing I'm noticing is the CS difference there in the mid lane. We talked about it before, the freshman to senior matchup, and it seems to be showing a little bit now. Soren with 35 to 15 CS over Protogem.
Yeah, Protogem, as you said, that's exactly where my eyes went as well. So maybe going to need a help from Solgrims. Kind of even up that gold. That's going to maybe make that first Rift Herald fight a little bit tougher for Northern Illinois if that farming does continue, because everything else pretty much dead even. There's a bit of a CS lead for Sky Sailing, but you just remember that Shot did pick up that River Scuttle, so he does have a little bit more gold than he had just been hitting lane minions. And they're just going to hop right onto the Dragon for Eastern Kentucky. The River Scuttle had fallen, and so they're just going to pick up a free Infernal Dragon here. There's not even a contest. Solgrims, oh, is he going to go over the wall?
Doesn't look like he's going to, even though the early smite comes out from Jumper Gamer. Great call, I think, from Eastern Kentucky. We talked about it a little bit earlier with a few patches ago, those dragons being so much stronger. I think picking up that first one right off spawn, getting the stacking started, really helps your scaling and just allows you to have a better late game insurance.
Poke up in the top lane, but I Am Goo has really done a great job at this range versus melee matchup, pretty much staying even. He's about a wave behind, but that wave is crashing into his tower, so he should be able to stay right there as long as he's able to CS efficiently, which picks up the first couple there. Probably should be able to get this cannon as well, though. This could mean Kratos could get the plate if he chose to attack it. Instead, just trying to throw out some harass and pick up the minions.
Yeah, we'll proc the hyper proc on that third auto, but like you said, opting not to go for the plate, just going for some harass instead. Only 2 bases so far in this one, 6 minutes in. The Lost Chapter picked up for Soren, as well as the Bombies now for Jumper Gamer. And an interesting one that just came through from Solgrims. He's going to go with the first base Tiamat on the Wukong. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, that to me tells me Solgrim's probably not going to be the aggressive. Wukong wants to make up for that slower clear speed that we mentioned and just kind of just power down the camps. As you said, trying to rush that mythic item, delays it a little bit to pick up the Tiamat, but he should be able to farm now. We do see the Mega Gnar comes out. A couple of tower shots do land, but again, one of these waves is going to crash, and this should be a plate to pick up. They have Jumper Gamer kind of hanging around, but he was not able to pick up the Gnar, and so far top lane's really where all our action is. But I'd say I am Goo. He's only 2 CS down despite this constant shoving, and that's some good wave management, some good lasting under the towers to kind of make sure that lane doesn't get out of control for the Garen.
Yeah, and I think that's a point where you can look at something like a comfortable pick that you know he's played a lot in solo queue. Even in matchups like this where you are constantly getting shoved in, you know how to pick up those waves underneath your tower or even when you're getting harassed. So doing a good job staying even. If he picks up all this, should be right around even, if not ahead. We're going to see Jumper Gamer again looking in the top lane, but nothing to find so far. Neither top laner going for a reset quite yet. Both AD carries doing so themselves, picking up the early Noon Quiver. Good farming from both, about dead even. Like we said, the mid lane matchup has picked up a little bit in CS, but still down nearly 20 is Proto Gem to Soren.
Would like to see both these top laners maybe get it back, pull that teleport off before the Rift Herald spawns here. Shelly will join us on the map. That won't happen, so both these junglers instead are going to walk over to their buffs. Proto Gem, as you mentioned, starting to catch back up in CS, so he has not taken his first back yet, so that will probably be where Soren maybe pulls back ahead, as he did back to the Lost Chapter until Dorn rings at 2 health potions for the Vex of Northern Illinois. Red buff goes over to Jumper Gamer, and this just feels like a matter of time. He's been hanging around top lane. I'm assuming he's going to want to get a kill and then pull over to this Rift Herald. We will see a plate might fall on the bottom side, but no one's actually there to pick it up. That is some lost gold for the Northern Illinois bot lane.
Yeah, I think maybe just a bit of a mistake on timing. Obviously, want to get your reset off. We're going to see Nautilus go for a roam there in the middle lane, but no play as Soren takes a reset. Lost gold, never a good thing for either side. Proto Gem going to drop a ward. He knows Jumper Gamer's there clearing the Raptors, but this one's just moving really slow. Both teams not trying to force anything too crazy, as everyone in this game now has hit the level 6 shot. Trying to keep his distance away from Old Man, as Your Bad Stay Mad, not going to find an angle there. And again, pretty much everyone in this game just farming up, trying to get themselves to their power spikes. As we're just moving slowly, we can see Jumper Gamer hovering towards the top side. We'll take the top crab, but same old in the top lane. I am Goo, still getting shoved in by Secretos.
Finally did get our back for Proto Gem, so they'll also pick up a Lost Chapter and some boots, and Soren back as well, so both mid laners basically even. And here we go, we might get our first action of the game. Solgrim's, he doesn't know.
And now he's just going to walk on out. Trying to hover, see if the crab was up, but the ball coming out from Soren gives a dead giveaway, and he's going to head on out and take another reset. Both junglers basing at the same time, and with all his power farming, should be able to pick up something decent. Jumper Gamer not quite able to get everything he needs to finish that Turbo Chem Tank, as it'll be a Sheen picked up for Solgrim, so it looks like he will be going Divine first, just one of that Tiamat for the clear speed.
Still lagging a little bit behind mid lane and jungle, kind of where Eastern Kentucky has built this 600 gold lead, as we really haven't had too much action. There is another dragon up in 10 seconds. Eastern Kentucky did pick up the first one of the game relatively early, so could maybe look for an early souls. We do get some action on the top side finally.
Yeah.
But Garen will just walk away and heal up.
Just a bit of 1v1, but he gets on out of there. The W giving him so much tenacity. As we see Northern Illinois going to go ahead and stack for this Drake. They don't want to allow Eastern Kentucky to get 2 on them early on, as they're still waiting to make a play. Everyone has everything up, with both top laners staying in the top side. Orianna going to walk back to the mid lane. We'll see who makes the first move. Obviously, if you're Northern Illinois, you know you have that easy engage with the Nautilus, but Eastern Kentucky just going to walk on out and hand this one over to Solgrims and NIU.
Yeah, kind of shocked that Eastern Kentucky didn't want to look for maybe a quickness into an Orianna shockwave play here. Instead, they'll just kind of get an eye on Dragon. It'll slowly start to fall, and now, a rotation over towards Rift Herald and topside. As Earth Dragon is picked up, it will be a Cloud Soul, so not super exciting soul that these teams will be fighting for. It looks like that first Rift Herald will just be picked up by Eastern Kentucky. So a nice trade of the objectives for the jungle jumper gamer, realizing let's not contest the dragon, maybe feeling his team a little bit behind. Let's just simply pick up this Rift Herald instead.
Yeah, I like the Rift Herald pickup. Honestly, I think trading that first Drake over for NIU to pick up the Rift Herald instead is super valuable as long as they make sure to drop it to get those plates. I really don't know what lane is best to drop it in. You could maybe try and accelerate your Orianna on Sorin in the mid lane, or you could drop it bot as well. Either is fine. As the Flash W going to come out from Old Man, they're going to look to make a play on shot. He gets exhausted. Kaisa diving in as well. They're going to try to go for the 1v1. There goes the bullet time. It'll take them very low, but Old Man is just barely going to live.
Here come the reinforcements.
Both sums out. There goes the Vex ult at its first blood over to Proto Gem, and another one will fall. Soulgrims picks up the second on the Sky Sailing, and a nice cleanup. Good movement from Shot keeps him alive, dodges out on the Rakan W, and picks up 2 kills for none for NIU.
Yeah, that was fantastic play by Shot. That's kind of what I was worried about, is if he got left on an island, how he would play, and he played it perfectly. The bullet time under the tower got him low, and then Protogen and Soulgrims just came in for the cleanup. An easy double kill. They do pick up 4 plates in the mid lane, and we actually kind of have a bit of a battle for first tower here. Do believe Eastern Kentucky should be able to pick it up, but they only have 2 members, while there are 3 on the bottom side. 4 in Northern Illinois, but first tower gold will go over for Eastern Kentucky. And oh, now we have a play on this tower.
Your Bad Stay Mad will drop the depth charge, looking now on to 1. The turret's going to drop. Your Bad Stay Mad going to flash on out on the Nautilus. The Ignite dropped onto Sky Sailing. Old Man going to try to chase him down. Has the W. Lockup will land. And just looking to pick this one up. But he stays alive. W still keeping him active. We're going to see Soulgrims looking to make a play on Old Man. Keep his support alive. The hook will get him out of there. Try and allow on to Old Man, but with no access to the Cyclone, has no way to lock him down, and everyone just walks on out.
Yeah, a little confused that Sky Sailing didn't follow his support. I mean, of course, in hindsight, it's an easy play to say. I think Old Man probably maybe even called him off, thought he could take down that Nautilus, but couldn't quite do enough damage. The shield comes back up, and that is a free kill that Eastern Kentucky desperately could have used. I mean, you see the Kraken Slayer already picked up for Misfortune on that bottom side. There is no Mythic yet for Sky Sailing, so that is going to be a brutal 2v2 for probably the next 3 or 4 minutes until Sky Sailing backs and even things up with those Mythic items. Because that is a very, very hard lane to play into a Misfortune who's doing some extra damage with that Kraken Slayer.
Yeah, definitely going to make a big difference. Obviously, you have 2 members in this game kind of having to slow their Mythic down by just a little bit, with Soulgrims and Sky Sailing opting for something outside of their normal build, with Sky Sailing picking up the Dirk just so he can get that Q evolve earlier on. We already mentioned the Tiamat coming out from the Wukong, but it does make the 2v2 a little more difficult. I was going to see a play here made by Secretos trying to get something done onto IMGoo, but not taking a ton of damage. We'll get the Hyper Proc, gets him pretty darn low, but the level of Aaron Garen just going to walk on out of there. Your Bad Stay Mad will move up here in the top side, but just to clear out some vision.
To have, another dragon in 90 seconds. This will be really the first time maybe these 2 teams will fight over an objective. Otherwise, we haven't seen too much from either of these teams. We do see finally maybe a siege on that mid lane, trying to even up those mid lane towers as Your Bad Stay Mad makes appearance. And Old Man, not a good spot to be.
Might be caught out. There goes the Cyclone. They're just going to try to take him down right away. Big Shockwave lands on a 3, and Old Man is going to get on out of there. Going to look for a play here on the top side as well. Stun going to go down onto Secretos. He flashes away and gets on out just fine. So plays in mid and top, but nothing to be done with the exception of a mid tower going to fall here for the side of NIU.
I think that's a really good job by NIU. Those mid towers so impactful. It opens up the rest of the map, makes it a lot easier to set up for Baron, set up for Dragon. You can get some more forward warding, so I like that play by them, realizing Jumper Gamers top side, let's just simply even up those mid lane towers. Let's build our gold lead to just over 1,000, and everyone will start to reset. Probably going to get our first team fight here at this Dragon. Neither top laner has teleport, so at some point, Secretos and IMGoo have to start roaming down, unless both of them just opt to ignore their team, in which case we'll get a 4v4 as the wave shoving in. Secretos is going to pop the Meganar, and I think maybe just try and siege this tower down so he can join his team of Dragon.
Yeah, Meganar has so much extra AD, but the wave killer coming out from IMGoo, once you finish off the Berserker Greaves especially, so much attack speed makes the E move a heck of a lot faster. But Secretos not going to be able to get a ton done here. Still going to keep on pushing in. I do think you're right, we'll see a team fight, but I doubt either top laner will join. No access to TP. You really don't want to give either of these guys the opportunity to take down that tower in the top lane, but we can see the other 4 members of both sides stacking and positioning there in the bot side river.
Ooh, old man gets caught. That's bad.
Hook lands on to the Rakan. He's forced the W on away, and that'll be the end of that one so far. So a bit of an HP trade, but it's definitely in the favor of NIU. So Kratos, again, looking for a play onto IMGoo, just trying to take him low. Old man will get canceled away, instantly blown up, and there goes the bullet time. He goes unstoppable, but Jumper Giver will drop it. They will trade 1 for 1. Exhaust going down on the Proto Gem, looking now on a Soren. He cleanses away the Ignite. The slow coming down from his Fortune, still alive for now. Kai'Sol will not keep him alive, but Skyscaling will pick up Proto Gem, but will fall himself. 2 kills over to the side of Shot and NIU, as it is now 6-1 and a ballooning gold lead, as they'll pick up the Drake for themselves as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, Eastern Kentucky never really recovered from that HP trade that you talked about, Paladino. Old man basically got one shot by, I believe, the Shadow Surge into the bullet time. We do see Kratos gets a top turret as well, and after that, you don't have your quickness. You don't really have a great way. They tried the Stormbringer, but the Command Shockwave couldn't even get the Jumper Gamer in time. Skysailing at least picking up 1, but he unfortunately killed Proto Gem before the shutdown was applied, so did not get that bonus gold on the 3-1 Vex. And now that's a huge 3.5k gold lead for Northern Illinois. And really, I think team fights are now just going to go in their favor. I mean, Old Man's 2 levels down. He is not going to have the same tankiness as Nautilus, and Eastern Kentucky's comp now looks very, very lost, Paladino, without that engage from the Rakan.
Yeah, it's very difficult. I mean, we talked about it a lot in draft. You wanted something consistent for the Orianna to have to put the ball on, but if your Rakan is this far behind, I mean, he's naturally not going to be as tanky as the Nautilus, but when he's down now a full level, down quite a bit in items as well, it's very difficult for him to get in. We talked about it there. He went down to half HP on that first hook, tries to make an engage, gets canceled and immediately blown up. And I think it really showed in that last team fight as well. Eastern Kentucky was not able to get on top of Shot to stop that bullet time, so much damage going out onto all 3 of them that they could just not recover, as NIU is going to start taking this top Herald, but without their jungler, no one here to catch any bot waves besides Soul Grims. We'll see if they try to make a play and knock down this tier 1.
Looks like this second Rift Herald will probably expire, as you mentioned. Soul Grim's bottom side of the map. Don't really need a smite. Shots can easily take care of it. Hit the eye, just your bad stay. Mads comes down. There's not really many plates, there's not many low towers. So instead, they will just choose to walk past and look for another team fight. Skysailing and company, everyone actually rotating down towards this mid lane. So maybe a chance for IMGoo and Kratos to make their appearances really on the Rift Valley. We have not seen much of them besides just slapping each other around on the top side.
Yeah, just slapping each other around for fun, farming waves. They're both pretty much dead even. Kratos with a little bit of an item lead with the Caulfield's Hammer over IMGoo, but both of them with their mythics complete, only one top tier 1 left standing. They're about even in CS, but the main differences we see here, of course, the difference with the AD carries, a level lead for Shot over Skysailing, has a bit of an item advantage as well, just with the pickaxe. And we talked about it earlier. We talked about the CS difference in the mid lane with a little bit of trading going on top. But because this Vex has gotten so far ahead with 3 kills, 3 assists as well, with the playmaking that NIU has gone for, it's really allowed them to catch up dead even now in items, slightly ahead, working on that Shadow Flame next.
Soren does have a bit of a level advantage. Didn't hit that level 12 first in the mid lane, but yeah, that will pale in comparison to the item advantage, so Soren backing should be a chance for him to kind of catch up a little bit. IMGoo, though, he's taking a ton of damage.
He's looking to make a play here. Kratos about to turn Mega. He does not know the Jumper Gamer is right behind him. Going to jump on out. Flashway comes from IMGoo, but there goes the Gnar. That's going to pick up 1. Flashes away, and has Soul Grims behind him, but that'll be the end of the play. A solo kill for Kratos, and what then became the 1v2. The Krug's going to block. Skysailing W jumps on away. There goes the Shockwave. Will land on Soul Grim. Cyclone going to come on down. The W will not land from the Rakan. Kratos, great jump away to get away from Jumper Gamer. Soul Grim's very low. They're going to give a kill over the Skysailing. Now, time to turn onto Kratos, trying to use the vision. Goes into the alcove, but stunned up like Jumper Gamer. There goes the knockup, and they'll try to give this one to the Kai'Sa as well. It's a double kill, and that feels good if you're the Kai'Sa and Skysailing, and even better if you're EKU. 2 picks, and they're posturing around the Baron. They do have the numbers advantage. IMGoo going to be up a lot sooner with teleport to come here if he chooses. Instead, going to opt to walk here so far. Your bad stay Mad is the only one even close. We can see Shot walking now into the topside river, but Vex just going to knock on this bot tier 2. 4k HP is the Baron. Your bad Med trying to clear out some vision. Jumps away from the W. There goes the bullet time in too deep. Jumper Gamer going to pick up the Baron, and IMGoo just going to instantly shut down Shot, and Your Bad Stay Mad trying to make a play with his 80 carry gets picked up by Old Man, and that is a big turn for Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah, what starts as a solo pick like over a minute ago onto IMGoo somehow results in -3 plus a Baron. ProtoGem will pick up that tier 2 on the bottom side of the map, but I don't think that is worth it in any sense of the meaning compared to an early sub-21-minute Baron picked up for Eastern Kentucky. They should be easily able to shove down most of these waves, pick up that tier 1 bot and top. That should be a no-brainer for them to kind of even up the gold. That's exactly what IMGoo and Old Man want to do, and we saw the power of that Garen in that play, Paladino. I mean, IMGoo makes his first appearance, basically just runs down Shot, couldn't even get away. The ult executes her from about 30% health. This Garen is going to be a problem for this Misfortune for the rest of the game, as now Secretos does do some good chip damage. Soulgrim's coming up. We might get a re-engage here.
There goes the Sun. Secretos with a big Gnar onto 2. They're both about half HP. He's not in Mega for a whole lot longer. They're both just going to walk on out. They will get the top tier 1 on the way out. Your Bad Stay Mad going to lead the charge here for NIU as they try to contest this break. There goes the TP coming in now, so we're going to cleanse it away. Stuns up, goes Your Bad Stay Mad. Jumper Gamer going to walk on out. Drops the E. They're looking on a Sky Sailing first, taking about half HP. Flashes away from the Shadow Surge. And Soulgrims and NIU will look to take this Dragon. Jumper Gamer not going to be able to get in. So that's sole point for NIU, as now it's the task of EKU to get on out of here. Secretos going to look to make a play. Charging up the Mega. There goes the Cyclone onto 2. Looking now on to Jumper Gamer. Another knockup comes through, but he will use the Storm. We're going to get on out. Sky Sailing going to color, Kaisa ult away. Rakan W will not land. ProtoGem's going to pick up Storm in the backline. Another one drops. Sky Sailing picks up one. Secretos will drop as well. EKU, triple kill over to Sky Sailing. Looking on a Shot now, but he's going to pick up the Old Man. IMGoo not able to chase him down quite yet. Does not have the Q. ProtoGem in the wrong spot. Will walk on out of there just fine. It is a 3-4-2 in favor of EKU.
Northern Illinois, they look great in those first couple team fights, and the problem is they've just been getting re-engaged on. They get the perfect jump, they get the great elimination onto Soren, so there was no chance for Oriana to throw out that damage, but Sky Sailing 6-2-1 on the Kaisa has been absolutely a mammoth for this team in terms of carrying EKU back into this game. I mean, the gold lead now back in EKU's favor just by 300 gold, despite having less kills and less turrets. That Baron really doing some work, and you have to wonder, Paladino, I mean, you've got to find a way to jump on this Kaisa. I mean, you have the Shadow Surge with the Vex, you have the Cyclone, you've got to kill Sky Sailing, otherwise any fight EKU could just simply re-engage and kill you, and that's how they've stayed in this game so far.
I mean, I totally agree. I liked NIU's idea to try and make a play while they're walking back to base, but they've got so much against them. Wukong with a good engage, but not able to get onto Sky Sailing. Just not able to get enough done, and then you're fighting against a re-engaging Eastern Kentucky with the Baron buff still on, and with that double kill coming in from Sky Sailing before that Baron was picked up. Finished the Collector, grabbed the Zeal as well, just so strong on the Kaisa. The Baron buff has expired, and like you mentioned, the gold lead is very close. So we're still in a position where fights could go either way. Like you mentioned, getting onto the Kaisa, it's already quite difficult as it is with the invisibility as well as the Killer Instinct, but no Flash now available for Sky Sailing. So if you're Northern Illinois, you can try to make a play, maybe with the depth charge from Your Bad Stay Mad, but anything they can get done, they're going to need to, because if this Kaisa is allowed to stay alive in these prolonged fights, it just makes the game much harder.
Unfortunately, this Shot has been kind of reduced to a bullet time machine. ProtoGen, you're not going to live this one.
Yeah, he's just going to get dove. The Stormbringer going to take him out. The hook not going to land. Old Man will miss the W as well. They're going to knock down this bot tier 1, but Shot is going to pick up Old Man as he works his hardest to zone them away. They don't even need the minions on the side of Eastern Kentucky. They just want the gold from the bot tier 1.
Both these bot laners, massive problems right now. 4-1-5 for Shot on the Misfortune. Sky Sailing 7-2-1 on the Kaisa. Does have that 700 gold bounty. And Secretos taking great advantage of the fact that IMGoo had teleported down to that bottom side, picks up a tier 2 top lane, and will probably keep shoving. We do see the backs coming out. Shot, able to stop that one. Great job there to prolong the backs, though Jumper Gamer did get back, and so there will not be any chance for an inhibitor steal for Northern Illinois, so the NAR will just simply opt for the reset.
I think if I saw it correctly, IMGoo was already bot side and tried to TP top to the tier 2 and got canceled by Secretos taking the tower. So that's already, you don't defend the bot, you don't defend the top tier 2, you get the gold in the NAR's pocket, and IMGoo no longer has TP. Drake coming up in a minute 30, that gives some more gold in the pocket of the NAR with the already finished Black Cleaver. We can see IMGoo has the Mortal Marinder as well, working towards that Dead Man's Plate next. This next Drake, very important. Eastern Kentucky, definitely going to need to fight this one so you don't give over the Cloud Soul to Northern Illinois.
I'd like to see Secretos maybe, keep him up on that top side of the map. He has his teleport, as we mentioned. IMGoo does not have his for this dragon, so IMGoo has to stay more on the bottom side of the map or force his team to fight a 4v5. He's still trying to clear out that wave. Secretos hanging around the mid lane. Would prefer that NAR to go top, but that's okay. The bigger thing now to watch will be his Rage Spark. Can he go Mega NAR when the fight takes place? Get that amazing NAR ult, maybe throw somebody like Sky Sailing, like Soren into the wall. But instead, we might get a collapse onto IMGoo just before the dragon even happens, as your bad stay mad on the hunt for the Scaran.
The Death Charge is going to go out. IMGoo using the Q to try to get away. Soulgrim's going to look first. Drops. There's no Cyclone coming out yet, taking him very low. Strikebreaker not going to keep him alive, and Shot's going to pick him up. Jumper Gamer with a ton of speed, but not able to get anything done. We see the other 4 members of EKU maybe trying to make a play here. Soulgrims will get hit. Old Man not going to land. Huge NAR out on the 2 into the bullet time, and they're all taken low. And guess who's out of the fight right away? It's Sky Sailing. Soren going to pick up Soulgrims on the way out. Old Man still alive for now. Flash Q will land, and Secretos picks up one for himself. Big play from NIU, and with this Cloud Soul now spawning, they're going to instead opt to take the Baron first, but it's a 4-for-1 for Northern Illinois.
It does look like maybe Protogen's just going to go down, grab that soul by himself. It's only Soren alive for 10 seconds. And as you called out there, Paladino, the great job by Secretos. Gets a 2-man Gnarl into the wall. Comboed with the bullet time. They didn't even stand a chance. They probably could have left that Baron for 8 more seconds, so Soulgrims could have benefited, but instead, they'll just make sure they take care of it. Soren now rushing in, trying to stop this Cloud Drake and Cloud Soul from being picked up. There's no one else who can help him. But he's quickly going to run away, and the Dragon's a lot healthier than I expected. It is a 2-on-4, but I think Shot and Secretos should be able to burn this down before anyone from EKU can get close to attempt to steal.
Yeah, 3 out of Misfortune just too strong. Keep in mind, Protogem very low. Killer Instinct gonna pick up 1. The exhaust is not enough. Sky Sailing, the flash forward, looking for Shot, still alive for now. But the Mossy just needs to pick up Protogem. Looking first on the Soulgrims, he's still alive, uses the clone. Alive and kicking for now, but I don't know how much longer that'll be the case. Does have the Cloud Soul with a bit of movement speed. 3 Cloud Drakes. Ease over to the Raptors. Trying to get back to his mid tier 2. The stun gonna expire from Jumper Gamer, but he will instead use the Stormbringer. But Soulgrims will drop to the W from Sky Sailing. Secretos hit by the Old Man W, but the quickness, not enough. Too much of a slow coming out from Shot, as Secretos gonna pick that one up. So, I mean, if you're NIU, you did get the Baron, but now it's only on 2 members, just on Secretos and Shot. You got the Cloud Soul as well, but you get some more gold in the pocket of Sky Sailing. Did have to flash forward aggressively, so again, in this next team fight, it's important to note, Sky Sailing with no summoner spells available. So if Secretos or your bad stay mad is able to get on top of him, he will just blow up so fast.
Even impressive. And I believe Shot was the one who got that shutdown onto Sky Sailing in that previous fight. And you could see there has about a 50 CS lead, and he's already got 3.5 items, has the BF sword and the pickaxe for his 4. So he is decently ahead of Sky Sailing. So it might even be the Misfortune that is the bigger issue for both these teams in this next fight. I do think that, interestingly enough, with the, weakness of Cloud Soul Paladino, the fact that Elder's now on the map is probably a net positive for Eastern Kentucky. Again, 3 Cloud Drakes is just going to make you a little bit faster. That movement speed when you ult is going to be nice for someone like Wukong, maybe someone like your bad stay mad to run down someone that you depth charge. But for the most part, the fact that you can get the game-winning Dragon at 34 minutes for Eastern Kentucky, that feels like a net gain, in my opinion, for them, for the way this map has been going, because team fights have kind of gone in their favor a lot more than they should.
Yeah, much more than you expect from a team like NIU, who's had a gold lead fairly consistently, picked up the Baron for themselves as well. But I think you're right. If there's any pick that can be made from EKU onto NIU, and they're able to pick up that Elder, it can vastly change the tides of this one. Northern Illinois going to try and get as much value as they can out of this Baron buff. Secretos going to turn into Mega and just walk on out. But NIU, or excuse me, EKU, just going to try and defend and keep their in-hit turrets alive as the Baron buff expires.
I would have liked to see Secretos try and maybe split push a wave. Instead, they just kind of tried to 5-man shove down mid. They did pick up that tier 2 mid, but none of the inhibitor turrets really took any amount of damage. As EKU's doing a great job just kind of clearing out waves. They have some fantastic wave clear with the Orianna, with the Garen. We will kind of just reset here. We've got Elder Dragon in 3, Baron in really 30 seconds before that. So it'll be an interesting debate for these teams. Do you set up around Elder? Do you set up around Baron? Do you try and burn Baron, then get to Elder? I think this is about 2.5 minutes from now, Paladino, is when this game is really going to explode. For now, you're trying to avoid picks like Shot as Old Man looking for a play with the quickness, but just simply can't get in range. Just to make it rain, it's going to slow him down.
Yeah, Shot, no access to those summoner spells, no flash, no exhaust, but with the access to the E just slowing down anyone who tries to come near him, he's able to keep himself safe. Of course, has your bad stay mad right behind him to peel for him as well. I think you're right. Either side, both teams kind of trying to determine, do we set up around Baron? Do we set up around Elder? Either way, I think we'll definitely see a fight coming out that will drastically or essentially decide who is going to take this game 1.
Wave clear by both these teams. Vision going to be the next priority here, mainly for Eastern Kentucky. You can see both the Baron Pit and the Dragon Pit lit up with some blue wards from NIU. They do have that River Scuttle on the bottom side as well, but that will fade well before Elder Dragon joins us here on the Rift. Oh, they're going to get a hook onto I Am Goop.
Hook will land, the depth charge coming out as well, but the Kai'Sa ultimate in as well. So the massive bullet time will take down 2 right away. The Vex ult going to miss. Flash forward. Looking first on this guy sailing. No access to the flash. It's a triple kill for Shots. Kratos goes Mega, looking now onto Storm, and our ult will not land. There goes the cleanse, and it'll be another one picked up. It's a quadra kill for Shot, and the only one left standing is Jumper Gamer at 1 HP. Shot with the Collector 4 items. Flashing forward goes Solgrims. It's a pentakill for Shot, and NIU gonna knock on the base and take down this inhib. They'll hit the Nexus Towers next, and what a great way to pick up game 1 for NIU with a pentakill from Shot.
Yeah, Shot was the player that I had my eye on, was curious how he'd play in this comp, and well, he responded in a big way. First game of the season, how about a pentakill, as you said, 11, 1 and 8 on that Misfortune. Also, pacing the game, 298 CS, not a bad number here in your first game on the stream. Absolutely fantastic for NIU to pick up that game 1 win. I think now the question becomes, Paladino, what do you do if you're EKU? That top lane matchup felt pretty even, really, for the most part of the game. That mid lane matchup, besides some early farming deficit, felt pretty even. Bot lane is really where both of them popped off. I don't know what you do if you're EKU to change your strategy, because that game felt great until you got picked, and then it was a pentakill.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, we saw it kind of go back and forth, like you said, especially in that bot lane. We saw Shot get very far ahead very early on, but then the Kai'Sa coming back as well, that double kill in the top lane, picked up the Baron right at 21 minutes. Ban-wise, I really don't know what to change. Obviously, the Misfortune, when you get a pentakill, looks like a problem, but maybe there's more to be done. I don't think we'll see either side change things too drastically. I think a lot of it is more execution as opposed to the champion base.
Yeah, maybe go with a more well-rounded comp. Unfortunately, Old Man trying to engage with the quickness would just basically get 2 shot on repeat by Shot. We'll take a quick break here on the NECC side of things. We'll come back with game number 2. Can Northern Illinois start the season with a W, or can Eastern Kentucky force us to a game 3? You'll find out right after this. Welcome back into the NECC, getting ready for game number 2 here between Northern Illinois and Eastern Kentucky. Fish and Palladino calling all of the action here in the Navigators Lower Mid-East Division. It was a pentakill that stole the show for Northern Illinois in game number 1. Palladino, interested to see how that misfortune gets through, as we kind of talked about in the break. I mean, banning AD carries, like, yeah, you probably want to ban the character they got a pentakill on, but there's 4 other AD carries that will do the exact same thing as misfortune, just a little bit differently. So very curious to see how that misfortune does. Very curious to see how EKU changes up their draft, trying to avoid getting 2-0'd in their first game of the season.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't think you need a ton of changes. I think you can keep some things the way they were. I do think the one issue we talked about even pre-draft of game 1 that I'd like to see the change is the Garen. Obviously, you like comfort picks. You want to be on something you can farm well on and be effective on. It just didn't feel like he was able to get a ton done in those very impactful team fights towards the end of the game. And because of that, I would love to see something switched up on that end. But we'll see with what EKU opts with here in game 2.
In pro draft already done, so we'll see what these players wanted to do. The Nocturne man, once again, Jumper Gamer, not going to get his one-trick jungler, one-tricking in college. A little bit harder than it is in solo queue, Palladino, because everybody can scout you, and nobody's going to let you play what you want to play. And it looks like so far the bans the same. Yumi banned once again. Then there is the MF ban we talked about, so EKU opting for, you know what? We'll see, Shot, if you can play anything else as well as you can play the MF.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I think it's pretty warranted. Anytime anybody gets a pentakill, you'll probably take it off the table. I don't mind it, but like you said, there's a ton of other AD carries that can be effective in doing the same thing. We'll see Secretos opting once again for the Gnar. Looked great on it. Had some very nice ultimates there in game 1, but I am going to switch things up with the Dr. Mundo this game as opposed to the Garen.
Yeah, kind of his backup champ, as you said. Maybe take something else. You and I talked about it. Kind of just be that meatball in the top lane. I thought he played the Garen well. Yeah. He just didn't have the same impact as the Gnar. The Gnar all won them a couple of fights. The Amumu pick, I think, is a very, very interesting one, especially as you lock in the Warwick, you lock in the Swain. These are a lot of champions that want to be in melee range, Palladino, and Amumu, Solgrims, he's going to be more than happy to just cruise the side from you and lock you down as you try and kind of deathball on top of their team.
Yeah, Fish, I agree. I mean, the Amumu pick is super interesting, but it looks pretty good so far. Obviously, Dr. Mundo, it's a little harder. He has the CC immunity, but that's only from one spell, unless he's able to pick up that capsule from his passive. So not too hard to lock him down with the amount of CC that Amumu has on his own. And then you draft CC with Mega Gnar. Of course, Vex going to do the same thing. We're going to see a switch up here so far for EKU as well, with the Seraphine picked up for Sky Sailing, as Northern Illinois going to draft the stereotypical bot lane we've seen for months now, the Sivir Lulu.
Yeah, maybe you regret that misfortune ban now a little bit here if you're EKU, because basically all you did is you went from misfortune to the Sivir Lulu, and I think Shot is going to have a lot of fun with those boomerangs. I mean, you do have the Seraphine Senna, a very notorious lane in its old right. I think it's going to be interesting. Old man didn't feel very comfortable on those engages, just kind of ran head first on that recon. Really didn't get many quicknesses off at all. So put him on something a little bit more passive. He's going to be able to farm up those souls to become basically a second carry for this team. Should work out a little bit better. But I mean, I'm very nervous about this Amumu into the Sivir. Those boomerang blades are going to be bouncing all between Swain, Warwick, and Dr. Mundo. And if Shot gets ahead like he did last game, they're going to be absolutely doing a ton of damage to those melee champions.
Yeah, I think the thing you have to be concerned about if you're Eastern Kentucky is if you get blown up. Obviously, you have this Deathball comp, Seraphine, Swain. They're just going to keep healing each other or healing themselves and their allies around them. But if they get blown up, that's the end of the fight. But if EKU can kind of drain tank their way through, you have Seraphine continuously pressing W, giving everyone all those heals and shields, Swain keeping that ult active. If they're able to stay alive for long in those extended fights, there's a chance, they're able to really run over Northern Illinois in this one in game 2.
Yeah, I mean, especially if Old Man's able to farm up on that bottom side of the map, get those souls, as you talked about, with the Swain and Seraphine are healing each other. Old Man's just going to be across the map, just blasting you as a support. I think my one concern, and again, you mentioned Garen maybe wasn't the pick. It's still melee into range, right? And all we saw that top lane was Secretos and I'm Goo. farming really, really well. But the problem is when it got to team fights, Secretos with that Gnar ult was just so much more impactful. So they're going to have to find ways for Jumper Gamer to probably slow up to that top side of the map, slow down this Gnar, because if he gets as fed as he did last game, I think it's just going to be impossible for Swain. He's got to go through a Gnar ult. He's got to go through a Curse of the Sad Mummy. He's got to go through a Polymorph from Lulu. He might not even get in melee range at that point.
Yeah, it makes it a lot harder. I definitely think, really, in either of these solo lanes, if one of them gets ahead, it can very easily snowball. We saw Secretos do it last time, and even so on shot, we saw get super fed on the AD carry role as well. If you're Dr. Mundo and the Sivir isn't super far ahead, it can be difficult for Sivir to take you down as the really only consistent DPS threat coming from the side of Northern Illinois. But if the Sivir gets 3-4 items and you have those boomerang blades just jumping around on everybody, it makes the team fight so much harder.
Well, now we've got our game 2 draft done. Getting ready to hop into game number 2. Paladino, what are you leaning? Are you leaning NIU sweep, or do you think EKU's got a game 3 based off the draft?
Originally when you draft something like the Death Ball with Seraphine, Swain, you have the Senna back there putting out a bunch of damage as well. I'd go that way, but I really like the NIU response. You go with the Amumu. The Sivir looks really good here as well. We know Secretos can play that Gnar very, very well. So I think I'm going to favor NIU in this one.
Oh, man. I'm torn. I feel like I want to side with you, but just to make it a little more interesting, I do think that EKU can rely on. I don't think Shot's going to get as fed as he did. I mean, really, I don't want to say it was luck, but him getting that 700 gold shutdown onto Sky midway through game 1 is really where that misfortune accelerated out of control. So if you avoid giving a 700 gold shutdown over to Shot, I think this game is going to be a lot closer. And I think, as you pointed out, if Sivir can't get his fed, then I am Goo could just run them down on that Mundo, because he proved, even under tower on that Garen, he knows how to farm in that melee versus range matchup. I have complete confidence he can get tanky enough to just be a nuisance. So I think EKU could do it. But if Shot gets another big shutdown, it's going to be all over. He proved that already. And then we'll say, well, maybe you didn't want to ban the misfortune, because Sivir's even scarier, honestly, to this comp.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think either way, really, if either of these AD carries get fed, it can drastically change. Obviously, in the side of EKU, it's a little different. It's more about the support getting fed on the Senna. But even if you get a bunch of kills on your Seraphine, even through those W nerfs we saw a few patches ago, when they're in the death ball with all 4 teammates around her, it's going to be so much healing and shielding. Of course, Mundo has a ton of innate healing. All of the characters on the side of EKU have so much innate healing that if they don't get blown up right away, those extended fights are heavily favored toward Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point as well with all of that healing, is when does NIU pay that Grievous Wounds tax? Of course, Grievous Wounds did get nerfed a little bit ago, so it doesn't feel as strong early on. But, is it going to be that Lulu trying to rush that Chemtech Purifier? Is it maybe going to be Gnar on that top side? Who is going to get the Grievous Wounds to stop all of the healing that EKU could do? And how fast can you get it? Because if we're maybe 20, 25 minutes in and you haven't finished your Grievous Wounds item yet, you're not going to kill Eastern Kentucky. They're just simply going to sustain through everything you do to them. We hop into game 2. Can NIU get the sweep in our best of 3 to kick off the season? Or can EKU get us to a game number 3? We're about to find out.
I think you make a great point talking about who's going to pay that Grievous Wounds tax. And I think if you're on the side of Northern Illinois, it's got to be your Bad Stay Mad on the Lulu. And I really like the idea of rushing that Oblivion Orb and finishing that Chemtech Putrefier first off. It's just so good. Obviously, you see it a lot into things like Yuumi lanes, but it's really the same principle going into something like the Seraphine, as well as, really everyone on the side of EKU. But there's other people it's viable on as well. You could probably see it on Proto Gem later on. You don't really want it on the Sivir just because you need that 3-4 item power spike as fast as possible. But it's definitely something to keep in mind, because like you said, if you have no Oblivion Orb or no Grievous Wounds in general going into 20-25 minute team fights, it's going to be way harder for the side of Northern Illinois.
Yeah, I think you could see maybe Secretos rush the Chain Sword. I know they nerfed it a little bit ago because it kind of was the standard first item rush for top laners. Maybe, especially going into a Dr. Mundo, you can do that. Of course, You can look for the Thornmail build early for Soulgrims, but of course that only works if they're attacking you, which I don't think many of them would have a plan of doing is if you go that tank build. So yeah, I think it's going to be up to your bad Stay Mad, who isn't on the engaged support, which is something we didn't really touch on much, Paladino, but he was fantastic on that Nautilus. He had the hook that basically won them the game that led to shots pentakill. He had a couple of other great hooks onto I Am Goo to get them strong picks. Now that he's on the Lulu, it's more of the disengage. I'm very curious to see how he'll play the Lulu in this game number 2.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to watch. Obviously, a drastic change of pace from the Nautilus, which he looked so good on. But I don't mind the Lulu at all. I like it a lot with something like the Sivir, just providing that damage amp to someone who really needs it in the case of shot on the Sivir. And of course, once you go things like Shirelia's, then you have the active of the Sivir ult as well. Just so much movement speed for the entirety of NIU that, if fights start going your way, you can really turn things around. We'll see some early trading here in the bot lane, but nothing crazy. Old man very low. Polymorph forced flash away. First blood for shot as the Polymorph at level 2 doing so much work. The Ignite goes down as well as the flash from both Shot and Old Man, but that's an early 400 gold in the pocket of Shot, and that is exactly what we wanted EKU to avoid.
Yeah, it's a 700 gold shutdown, but you do not want to give a sub 3-minute first blood over to the man who just picked up a pentakill on you last game. And I mean, your bad Stay Mad. I mean, it wasn't the aggressive engage, but it got the polymorph, it got the ignite. Is exactly kind of what you said he was going to do, Paladino. And it was a perfect pick onto Old Man, trying to get greedy for that soul that did have a very unfortunate spawn all the way behind the wave, behind both laners of NIU. And now here comes Jumper Gamer. He's trying to get something back on the top side.
Nice jump from Secreto, should get him out of here just fine. We'll get hit with the cleaver, more like a ukulele with the pool party skin, but just jumps on away just fine. Nothing to be there for Jumper Gamer and EKU.
This is the lane that I really think, Jumper Gamer hung out around topside a ton in game number 1, but he never got any kills onto Secretos. He'd get a stun, and then as we just saw there, the Gnar would jump away. And I think that's what he's got to prioritize again, though we might get a bit of a jungle invade here from Jumper Gamer. Here he goes over the wall.
Jumps on over. He will grab that one away with the smite, looking now to grab one on to Soulgrims. He does still have access to the flash, and he's got Proto Gem behind him. There goes the stun onto one. Fleeing as well. Proto Gem gonna pick it up. Flash away, but the E lands onto both. Soren very low on mana, trying to pick up Soulgrims first. We'll pick him up with that last auto attack. So a nice trade back. Goes 1 for 1 there in the topside jungle of NIU.
It's a huge pick for Soren. Just going to make that Swain even take here. Would have liked to seen Secretos rotate down. Little confused that he was trying to stay and get some early tower shots on. They probably could have picked up that Swain and maybe even kept their Amumu alive. But now he's going to jump onto I Am Goo. But that CC immunity that we talked about in the pre-draft is going to keep Mundo alive for now.
Yeah, taken very low. But not too much of a concern. Has the Doran shield. Has a little bit of innate healing as well with the W and things like that, and getting some HP back from the Q when he hits Secretos with the cleaver. But so far, nothing crazy. Pretty much even farm. We're seeing more of the same in the mid lane that we saw last game with Soren having a decent CS lead on Proto Gem there in the mid lane.
Yeah, this time he has the kill to boot, which is even bigger for Soren. And we've seen this as well before. I Am Goo just getting really poked down under tower. Unfortunately, the Mundo not going to have as easy of time sustaining as the Garen did, which is basically just staying out of combat. Now going to have to land those ukuleles, as you mentioned, to heal up. Does have the immunity CC shield, so it's not going to be dived as easy, but I think this is definitely going to spell disaster for I Am Goo. I don't think he'll be able to sustain as long as he did last game, but Jumper Gamer on his way up. So Kratos does have Mega Gnar. This might not be as smooth of a 2v1, but it looks like Jumper Gamer is just going to walk away.
Yeah, I don't think there's much of a play, and I honestly think that a lot of this topside attention from Jumper Gamer into the top lane isn't as much to try and make a play on a Secretos, but it's rather covering for I Am Goo. It's just so difficult for him just because he's constantly getting shoved in, getting poked down, that he feels like he has to cover a potential dive, and it's very hard for him to make a play, but an instant turn comes out from Secretos. Looking at I Am Goo, gonna get the flash as well as the Dr. Mundo ult. I Am Goo gonna stay alive with that HP buff, so Kratos will drop down from Mega. Jumper Gamer still here as well. I Am Goo very low. Just some trading here in the bot lane, but Secretos gonna flash on away. Doesn't have access to the jump quite yet. Still alive for now. Bone plating still active. I Am Goo Gonna remain alive, as will Secretos. Gonna turn now on a Jumper Gamer. It's gonna go over to Secretos first. Another bandage toss lands, and it's a double kill for Secretos' Gnar. And the two biggest members that we saw for NIU last game are getting really fed here early on. Some nice trading coming out from EKU, but not able to pick up a kill onto Your Bad Stay Mad. Holds on to the flash as well.
That was an excellent flash by Secretos on that top side. Dodges the Warwick Fear. Knew Solgrims was on his way up. Just had to survive for long enough. Not only does he do that, he picks up a double kill as well. This Gnar is definitely going to be an issue, though. IMGU isn't even going to try and catch the Gnar out. Secretos had not backed yet.
Yeah, the Grass Proc will do some extra damage, but I don't think he's going to have enough quite yet. He's just going to take the base. Does still have access to the TP if he needs it. Will probably have a big buy here. 48 CS, pretty good. Gonna opt for the Merc Treads first into the Sheen. Gonna look for that Trinity Force as early as possible. Everyone pretty strong here for the most part. Obviously, we talked about Soren getting an early kill. We're gonna see a nice 1v1 here over the Drake. Solgrims winning on the HP side so far. Both of them trying to get the smite. It'll be a steal coming out from Solgrims. Some HP coming back from Jumper Gamer, getting so much back, but the Curse of the Sad Mummy is going to pick up one. There goes the Shadow Surge as well, looking out of Soren, and he gets blown up. It's a double kill for Solgrims, and two more in the pocket of NIU.
Proto Gym got the reset!
Oh, not quite. Q's going to miss as well. Your Bad Stay Mad going to try to chase him down, but has no mana, but he's going to grab Old Man's Flash for the cause.
Look top lane. IMGU already taken a ton of damage from this Gnar. This Gnar maybe should have been the ban target for EKU early on, but yeah, just a weird call for Jumper Gamer. He jumped onto that dragon all alone. Bot lane hasn't had prio this whole time. His shot and Your Bad Stay Mad have basically just been pushing in the Sky Sailing and Old Man. So it was a very risky dragon. And then Solgrims, he had the level 6. Jumper Gamer did not. I was expecting him to Curse the Sad Mummy before the dragon died, but he believed his smite, didn't need to, and then hit Soren with it as well. And this game has been an early disaster for EKU. It's already a 3.5k gold difference. Actually, sorry, 3k gold difference. We're only 8 minutes into this game right now.
Yeah, much different change of pace from game one. We saw things go very slowly for both sides, but in this one, we're seeing solo kills. We're seeing action here early on. Secretos gonna land the stun, looking now onto IMGU, but it'll just be a trade of Gnar ult for the maximum dosage from Dr. Mundo. Your Bad Stay Mad gonna take a nice roam up here into the top lane. You know, you can count on a shot to just farm up these waves all alone. Sivir with so much wave clear to match Sky Sailing's Seraphine as well. They might look to play for this first Herald. They'll grab the Crab first instead. Soren trying to steal away the Herald, not able to get it. Flash over, goes flash for flash. Solgrims gonna get the flash out of Soren, has to trade his own for it. We'll see if they try and pick up this Herald right away. They're going to grab this one very early on at 9 minutes. Again, a lot of the same. Early Herald this time will go into the pocket so far of NIU, as well as the first Drake going to go into the pocket of NIU as well. So like you mentioned, a 3k gold lead very early on for Northern Illinois. Not spelling success, but not quite over yet either if you're Eastern Kentucky.
So plenty of time, and we saw, similar scoreline in game number 1, though Eastern Kentucky was a bit closer in overall gold at that point, is Rift Herald's actually just going to be dropped right away from Solgrims, and unfortunately his laner is not going to get there in time, so those plates are only going to go over to the NIU jungler, and kind of an interesting decision. Didn't save it for mid tower when Dragon was spawning. Didn't save it until Secretos had an advantage up top. Maybe look for first tower. So they get the gold, but I'm not a huge fan of how that Herald was handled there. I think they definitely could have saved it to try and look for first tower. But I mean, you look across the board, they haven't lost any plates. I don't think they're too worried about losing first tower.
Yeah, Your Bad Stay Mad gonna look on to Old Man, taken very low. This Sivir doing so much damage, flashes away, and gonna pick up that one right away. Sky Sailing taken very low, forced to flash himself and shot. Burns both sums, but gets a kill for himself. Like you mentioned with the Rift Herald, I don't know if it was intentional. Very close to death goes Sky Sailing, eating the Q, and he's going to be forced to base now. Does have access to the TP, so won't miss too much. As Secretos going to look now onto IMGoo. There goes the Gnar ult. IMGoo still alive for now. Secretos trying to get out as much damage as possible. Very low are both members. Flash, and the Q gets it done for Secretos. Another solo kill. Jumper Gamer going to try to make a play, but keep in mind they don't have access to the Encore from Sky Sailing. Is he fast enough? There goes the Warwick ult, but he's going to get it done as well. And the Seraphine ult, Senna ult, going to pick up the kill onto Shot. A small shutdown, but a shutdown nonetheless, as that's 500 gold in the pocket of Old Man.
Good job by EKU with the counter kill on the bottom side of the map. The cleanse had been on cooldown from that earlier kill for Shot, and it cost him dearly there as the Silver Spell Shield wasn't quite up in time. Torn in this Seraphine Senna lane if it's better for the Seraphine or the Senna to get that shut down, but they do pick up a plate as well. Solgrim's coming down. He's looking for a play.
Landed the first one. There goes the Curse of the Sad Mummy. The Shadow Surge will not land. The second Bandage Toss will, however. Jumper Gamer still here as well. The heal coming out from Sky Sailing will remain alive for now. Solgrim's taken pretty low. Soren going to drop the ult, but not able to get anything done. Bandage Toss will land, but no play so far. Rooted up goes Proto Gem. But remember, no access to the Shadow Surge. Guess who's here? It's Shot. There goes the Spell Shield. The Bandage Toss not going to land. Trying to get as much damage off as he can, but just the one item Sivir not going to be able to get anything done. Low health bars on the side of Eastern Kentucky, but no gray screens for them.
Solgrims had waited on that Curse of the Sad Mummy. They tried to pick up multiple kills. His Old Man Polymorph.
Not quite able to get it done. The E going to land from Soren onto Solgrims, but no kill quite yet. As, again, just more trading here on the top side. All four members still hanging out here on both sides. They're in the bottom lane now with this Cloud Drake up. And with the Cloud Drake coming up as Dragon 2, that means the Soul going to be one of the more seen as impactful ones with either Ocean, Infernal, or excuse me, not Ocean, Infernal, Mountain, or Hextech. We'll see which side tries to pick this one up first, as, like we talked about with the innate healing coming out from Eastern Kentucky, their health bars have regenerated a ton so far, as they'll look to potentially take this Drake, instead just head back to their assigned lanes and try and push out these waves.
Yeah, the healing did a great job of preventing, plus the River Scuttle Ward there. Great job of preventing NIU from early Dragon stacking. If they get their second, though, IMGoo
gonna make a play here with the Gnar ult, trying to get the solo kill, and as he goes mini, he picks up his fourth kill of the game, and Secretos' Gnar is just too strong. Your Bad Stay Mad. Flash forward meets a flash from Your Bad Stay Mad. The Fear won't land, but the E will from the Swain. There goes the Encore, but it's not gonna hit him. Jumper Gamer very low, and Shot's gonna pick that one up. Sivir Ultimate has been used. The Bandage Toss lands onto a minion, but that's the end of the play from Solgrims, but it's another kill into the pocket of the Northern Illinois AD carry.
Eastern Kentucky, I liked how they played that previous fight where they didn't engage, they just tried to stay alive that time. Unfortunately, Jumper Gamer trying to make a play, and as you mentioned, this top lane, Secretos has absolutely taken over. If we go to a game 3, I guarantee you we will not see that Gnar on the top side. 4-0. IMGoo, I don't know if there's a fight you want to take.
Yeah, I mean, he's 2 levels down, but you know Secretos is going mini. Does not have access to the Dr. Mundo ult. We'll get Secretos' flash, so not a bad trade, considering it's a 2-level down difference here from the Dr. Mundo and the Gnar. But still, so much damage going to be coming out of this Secretos. And like we talked about earlier, with paying that Grievous Wounds tax, we were both pretty much right. We see the Executioner's Calling picked up for Secretos, very good in the 1v1, and good in the 5v5 as well. And the Oblivion Orb picked up early as well for Your Bad Stay Mad. We'll see if that'll be the full Chemtech Putrifier first, or if he's just opting to sit on the smaller amount here and go for that Shirelia's before the Chemtech Putrifier.
I'm very curious now. Oh, we get engaged here onto Your Bad Stay Mad.
One shot looking on to Old Man, taken very low, and he's going to pick up the kill. The Wild Growth going to make Shot have some more HP. Try to get the knock up, but does not need it. Second Drake was picked up as well for NIU, and they're going to knock on this bot tier 1. Not much that Sky Scaling can do. Has a pretty good amount of wave clear, gets to slow onto Your Bad Stay Mad, but a lot of damage coming out so far. Solgrim's here as well, going to try to make a play, gets slowed up, flashes away from the Bandage Toss. Sky Sailing going to get out of there safely. Soren walking down as well. We're going to see a TP coming out from IMGoo. This will be a 3v3, and your bad stay mad very low. IMGoo full HP. Bandage shots will land, but now NIU going to be a little bit split up, but should be just fine. IMGoo not going to land the cleaver. There goes the Sivir ult down as well. Jumper Gamer will land onto one. There goes the big Senna ult. There goes the first of the Sad Mummy as the charm will not land. One shot. Going to go on a killing spree. Flashes over the Dragon Pit wall just to go 1-4-0. Get himself out of there safely. And all at this time, not only does Northern Illinois win the fight, but guess who's knocking down that top tier 2? It's Secretos. That is one rich Gnar there in the top lane.
There's one scary Gnar as well. 4-0-0. I don't know. Mundo, we've already learned, unfortunately, cannot 1v1 him. Jumper Gamer, I'm not even sure in that 2v1 if they could take that down. The level 9 Warwick not having the best game. The minions, by the way, also grabbed this tier 1 bot lane tower during all of that fighting. And here comes the Kratos making his first appearance outside of top lane.
Soren taking just below half HP. Dispel Shield not going to grab the root. And Secretos going to pick up that one. And these two, by far the Fed members of NIU, 5 kills to each of their names, are going to knock down this mid tier 1.
Kratos wondering why the 2 players with 10 kills already combined came down into his lane, and now IMGoo. We've seen this play before.
Might be in some trouble. The W going to land as well as the Gnar ult, and he's just taken very low. And Secretos going to pick up another one for himself. 6-0 on the Gnar. Old man, I know it's your jungle, but I don't think you can walk here as NIU going to start hitting the second Rift Herald.
Old man and Sky Sailing coming down as well as Jumper Gamer, but I don't think this is an engage you want to take if you're Eastern Kentucky. Maybe you try for a crazy over the steel wall, but they're going to pull it back, and yeah, I think you have to concede this, or you're just going to fall further behind.
Yeah, it's better to just give it up rather than lose the game even more by trying to make a super play. Instead, they'll just get on out of here. The charm from the Encore not going to land. Old man taken pretty low. One shot, going to try to make a play here on to these two. There goes the Wild Growth. Soren going to try to change things up. Flashes in, but just drops immediately to shot. Health bar is getting lower. Heal going to come out. Secretos going to land the ult onto one. Taken very low. Your bad stay mad. Going to pick up that kill on the Sky Sailing thanks to a ton of layered CC as the Bandage Toss will immediately blow up one. Your bad stay mad going to flash on forward and just bully Jumper Gamer, but it has been all NIU all the time here in game 2.
Kratos got his Gnar shot, proving that it wasn't just a fluke on the MF, and IMGoo, I don't know if he lives this.
Landed with the Bandage Toss. It's going to pick up one, so it'll be a shot down. Taken away. Soul Grim's giving some gold into the pocket of IMGoo, just trying to be a little too aggressive, and that means they won't be able to pick up the mid inhibitor tower as your bad stay mad going to drop as well. Had no mana, so a little bit of overstaying and some miscommunication from NIU puts a little bit of gold in the pocket of EKU, but it's still over a 12k gold lead for Northern Illinois.
Yeah, it's going to take probably 3 or 4 more of those mistakes from NIU to really get EKU back in this game. I mean, as you mentioned, Paladino, it's a 12k gold lead, and we're not even 20 minutes into the game. Secretos still 6-0-2 on that Gnar. Shot right alongside 7-1-3 on the Sivir. Both of them with shutdowns worth north of 550 gold. There is an Infernal Dragon on the Rift. EKU's going to start it up. IMGoo does not have the teleport, but if they can burn it down in time, there is not a Proto Gem in this fight, so it might be a 4v4, but if Shot and Secretos are there, this isn't a 4v4 you want to take if you're EKU.
Yeah, I think even with numbers advantage, the fights are so hard. Secretos will get charmed up. Dragon taken pretty low. Bandage shot's going to land, but it'll be an objective bounty claimed by Jumper Gamer. Sword going to pop the ult. Looking to get a bunch done here. Trying to drain tank as much as he can, but just going to drop to Secretos. Gnar ult gets a bunch of flashes, but besides that, nothing else. The Dragon will stop the stacking so far for NIU, but you just lose another member there as Soren falls down.
It's like the minions did also finish off that very, very low health mid inhibitor turret, so this could even potentially be an inhibitor for NIU off of the back of that pick. Old Man will be there. The rest of his team will join as IMGoo, and Sky Sailing will rotate down, but Shot is just going to destroy this. They even have the Rift Herald going to summon it in the bottom side of the map to really just try and crack open this EKU base, but there's no minion wave. And if there's
No.
one thing to critique from this game too, Paladino, I'd say it's the Rift Herald usage for Soul Grims and company.
Yeah, I didn't like the first one. I would have loved to see some gold instead instilled into the pocket of the Sivir rather than dropping it top lane. If you drop it top lane and the Gnar gets the gold, it's fine. But we saw the Gnar not able to pick up the gold from those 3 plates that instead went into the pocket of Soul Grims. Could have been a little cleaner. Obviously, you walk with the wave. You have 2 lanes pushing in the 2 and 3 lane setup, but not able to get much done. But still, they're in such heavy control of this one. Even if there's some small misplays in execution, it's still going very well for the side of NIU.
Might get a fight over this red buff in the EKU jungle as the whole team rotates over. It was picked up by Soul Grims, and now it looks like it is a Baron call for NIU. Could potentially be a steal here for Jumper Gamer. That's about really all I think EKU has in their back pocket is in a full-on 5v5. They are nowhere close to the power level of NIU. Old man getting the scout out. We'll see if anyone wants to go over the wall, but I think it's going to simply die too fast.
Yeah, just taken too low. I mean, EKU is just so far behind in items. It's very difficult for them to get anything done, especially because Northern Illinois is just going to keep walking as 5. Maybe you could look for picks, but it's difficult to when they're just moving as a unit. This Sivir trying to finish that 3rd item, but even without it, still so strong. Same level as IMGoo. Just going to take him to about half HP. W is going to bounce onto a few. IMGoo still alive for now. Old man taken fairly low as well. Soren trying to apply some damage. The Encore will land onto 1, but no follow-up there onto Proto Gem. Your Bad Stay Mad is fairly low. Flash forward from Soul Grims will land on 1, gets knocked away. Soren with the pullback from the E. They'll knock down this mid inhibitor and now move up to the top side and meet up with Socratos here to knock down this top lane turret. Soul Grims misses the bandage toss, not able to get anything done quite yet. But again, really just working on zoning as they knock down this top inhibitor as well. NIU just going to walk on out for free, take their gold, hit a reset, and get some more gold on the map.
I like this play from NIU, especially. I think they kind of learned after that failed mid-inhibitor tower dive probably about 10 minutes ago. They realized, look, let's just regroup. Let's just win this game more. Let's not throw away all of our shutdowns. Let's not allow them to get objective bounties across the map as those tier 1 towers are still alive. I think that's a great play. You now have super minions pushing in 2 lanes. And the wave clear for EKU, a little bit rough outside of Sky Sailing and IMGoo. And I bet you now we'll just go 5 on the bottom side of the map. You've still got a minute, 20 seconds on this Baron. You get triple inhibitor, this game is pretty much over. The Winions will do it mainly for you, Paladino. And I think any fight was probably going to be Soul Grims. He's looking for probably the game winner in the base with the Curse of the Sad Mummy. But I like that he was very cautious when they were taking those other 2 inhibitors. I expect him to do the same here.
Yeah, I like the zoning, not trying to rush anything too quickly. Old man going to have to play very careful and immediately flashes on over the wall. 1 shot. Going to summon the Sivir ultimate and try to get his team into the base. Soul Grims looking to make a play. Bandage shot's not going to land. And they'll just knock on this 3rd inhibitor, and they can really fight. There goes the Curse of the Sad Mummy. The Charm is going to land onto all 4. It's a big combo potentially, but they're just down so much gold. Soul Grims very low. Multiple members dropping on both sides. Proto Gem will drop to the tower shot. Socratos still alive for now. Shot, 1 HP. IMGoo trying to pick him up. Flashing forward goes flash for flash. It's a triple kill for Shot, and a nice play there from both sides. But I think what's really important, we haven't seen too many crazy ults coming out of Sky Sailing until that moment. The Encore onto 4 trades back quite a few shutdowns. You don't get the 1K from the Sivir, but some more gold in the pockets of the side of EKU. Still down quite a bit, but prolongs the game a little bit at the very least.
Minions do claim one of those Nexus towers. Yeah, unfortunately for EKU, the highest damage dealer in that fight was the tower. That's what knocked Shot to 1 HP, but he was able to life steal, get away from IMGoo. They will pick up their 3rd dragon, put themselves on soul point, but something tells me, Paladino, we are not going to see that Infernal Soul this game. If we do, things have gone horribly wrong for NIU. They only need 1 more tower, and game 2 in the series is theirs, and I expect them to take this slow and steady. I don't even think you need to wait for this next Baron. You just kind of escort the minions in, and you could probably win this game.
Yeah, I mean, NIU just has full control of the entire map. There's nothing that EKU can do at this point when it comes to vision control. It's so hard. Obviously, you have the Umbral Glaive on the Senna, so you're able to knock down wards, but you're just going in blind. You know that NIU is going to be in your side of the Rift, and like you said, I totally agree. I think they could play it slow. They could wait 2 minutes for the Baron. I don't think they have to. They can just walk in these minions. Double supers every lane makes the game so much harder. As you see, they walk in as 4. Keep in mind, Kratos not here, however. Used the TP a bit earlier to secure the Drake, so he's going to have to walk all the way back from the fountain to pick that one up.
Going back for his wit's end. Probably simply could have just hung around and just made sure this game ended, but wanted to finish the build, or at least more parts of it. So now we're 90 seconds away from Baron, and that might be a more realistic call for NIU to just really secure this game, close everything out, as EKU's doing a great job keeping the base as clean as they can, keeping that one Nexus turret nice and healthy. And so I bet you we're just going to set up around Baron. Yeah, you can already see NIU trending in that direction. They're just going to set up vision, take what should be a very clean Baron, and then probably walk these Baron-empowered minions into the base for game.
Yeah, very easy cut and dry. What NIU needs to do to finish this one off. They're going to walk as 5, and there goes your playmaking tool from Sky Sailing. Going to be a field goal encore. Let's see what Shot is able to do, taking Sky Scaling very low, but a lot of self-healing coming out as well. Minions collapsing onto that last Nexus turret. As Melkar's going down, Solgrim's going to take a bandage toss that maybe puts him in some peril. A root goes down to Kratos. He's forced to flash out, about to turn Mega. Very low, however. Bandage toss, huge! Curse of the Sad Mummy lands on 4. So much damage coming out, but everyone's still alive so far. There goes the Shadow Surge as the tower finally drops your bad stay mad, taken very low. And it's a triple kill in the passing for Sky Sailing. Only 2 stay alive. It'll be your bad stay mad and Proto Gem. A lot of damage coming out, but they're in the back line. Tough to see through all that chaos, but Soren lands a massive E on to the side of Shot. As he gets taken down, there'll be a 1k shutdown, I believe, over to the side of Sky Sailing. So he'll be a little closer to finishing that 3rd item. So a bit of a botched engage, not able to do it too cleanly and end off the game there for NIU. But as the inhibs come up, the Nexus towers will not. And with this Baron spawning now, I don't think it's unlikely that NIU just walk on over there and take it essentially uncontested.
Yeah, NIU probably a little thankful they have a 10k gold lead to kind of play around with. As you mentioned, that fight there a little bit sloppy. Kind of a do we go for the kills? Do we just simply go for the Nexus tower? What do we do? They end up losing a couple of members. That 1,000 gold shutdown from Kratos gets handed over. So very interesting. Again, this Baron should still be there, even with that gold infusion onto the pockets of EKU. It's still an 8k gold lead. It's going to be a little bit closer. Might make this Baron a little bit more contested, and maybe they just wanted to prove me wrong, Paladino, because now we're 90 seconds away from Soul, so maybe they just really wanted the Infernal Soul, make me look bad here on the first day of the NECC after I thought we wouldn't even see this dragon on the Rift. We'll see if we make it another minute and 20.
Yeah, we'll see what they decide to do. I really don't think they need it once they pick up the Baron. There are only 1 inhib down now there in the bot lane, respawning here very soon. So we'll have to walk in those minions again. No more supers in mid and top. As we see, your bad stay mad going to go ahead and push it out as best as he can. But if you're NIU, you can wait for the soul, spawning in less than a minute now. But you don't have to. You can just walk probably as 5. The only reason you had those last 2 engages go as poorly as they did was just because you were tanking so much tower damage. You don't have that problem anymore. There are no red turrets left on the map. We'll see what they decide to do. They will walk through the bot side river to clear out some vision. It looks like they do want to opt for the Infernal Soul.
Yeah, unfortunately, all 3 inhibitors have respawned. NIU basically took them all back to back to back, so they did not get staggered. And as you said, it looks like they're going to clear out vision. Set up for this Infernal Soul. EKU really showed no interest in the Baron, so I highly doubt they'll show interest in the Infernal Drake, but they are starting to come out just a little bit as 3 of them do sort of peek their heads over by that blue buff, but the team is not with them. You can see Soren is rotating up to the top lane, so this will again be a fight they don't take, and really they're just kind of burning off the Baron of NIU already about halfway through. They'll pick up the Infernal Soul, and now potentially walking through into the base to try and end game 2.
Yeah, NIU, regardless of how long they keep this Baron buff, now so strong with this Infernal Soul. You have 4 items on your Sivir, just picked up that Infinity Edge in base. So incredibly strong. Everyone, with the exception of your bad stay mad, having 3 items, as before I could even finish, Old Man gets blown up by shot. Doesn't need much, just a few autos takes him down. He'll knock on this mid inhib. We're going to get a TP out from Secretos as NIU probably just going to try and walk this one in. We'll see if we get another big engage. Secretos going to try to make a play here. Gnar ult lands on a 2, so we're going to pop the ult. There goes the Encore as well. Curse of the Sad Mummy on to 3. There goes the Shadow Surge. Sky Sailing flashes away. Soren still alive, but finally goes down. Warwick ult onto the Vex. Will drop it. It's a double kill for Shot. Looking now on a Sky Sailing. He's going to pick up 3. Going to pick up 4. Excuse me, it'll be 2 and 2. Secretos going to pick up 2 for himself. Shot going to pick up 2 in that final team fight. And in a game that was all NIU all the time, they ended in 31 minutes. With Soul, pick up a couple Barons. Maybe not exactly how you would have loved to end it with that big of a lead, but a win and a sweep nonetheless.
Hey, practice always feels great when you win, but I definitely feel like late game situations, as you mentioned, probably what we're going to talk about here. Let's try and end games that don't involve a pentakill from your AD carries. You know, as you said, a little bit scuffed at the end there, but NIU basically took control. That bot lane, absolutely phenomenal. Secretos, I mean, basically sending a message to the rest of this Navigators lower Mideast division. Gnar is going to be his pick. You cannot play melee into it. Very excited to see them. And I think for EKU, still figuring some things out. Again, I don't think it's fair to say that IMGoo played poorly on that Mundo or that Garen. They either just need to find team comps that work with them or find ways to not let Gnar to pop off. The Garen was even better than the Mundo in game 1. It just didn't have the agency, as you pointed out, Paladino. But a great win for Northern Illinois. And again, a great learning experience for EKU. I'm sure they'll figure things out because this team has some bright spots. Maybe just ban Gnar, and this is a different series in game number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I definitely like your point. All the teams in the Navigators Lower Midwest, take note. Do not leave open Socrates Gnar. It is too strong. He's going to get everything done. Solo killing people left and right. Better watch out. Obviously, pay attention. They're going to win games through either way. Now they can play through top. Or they can go back to the old faithful on Shot, picks up a pentakill in game 1, pops off on the Sivir in game 2. But an overall very strong game. Some weak points from Northern Illinois. Obviously, some things you could have been a little cleaner, but overall, 2-0 is still a 2-0.
Yeah, week 1, you got to be happy. You know you're going to be rusty, and they pick up the win, as you said. But we are not done here on the NECC. We've got one more matchup coming up here. In about 15 minutes from now, it'll be Coe College taking on Bradley University in the Emergence Midwest Division. That'll do it for Fish and Paladino on the desk. We'll be back in 15 minutes with our second game of the night. Don't go anywhere. We've got more League of Legends coming up right after this. Welcome back in to the NECC second game of the night here on the channel. Fish and Sophia joining you to call this Emergence Midwest game. We've got Co-College taking on Bradley University. And Sophia, this will be a fun game for I think everybody. It's the first week. We're on Worlds Patch. There's a lot to look forward to and a lot to live up to if you're making your debut of your fall semester on the stream.
Oh my god, yeah, Fish. I'm so happy to be here. As you said, first week of NECC fall and Emergence first game on stream. So we had the last one which was Navigators, and now we're gonna have Emergence, Co-College, BU Shield. I think this is gonna be super fun. Just going for the players' IGNs, they look like fun people.
Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a great game. We were scouting the lobby, and we've got some TFT players in here as well. They are well-rounded. So let's take a look at our lineups. We'll start with Co-College here in the Emergence Midwest Division. See what they are bringing to the table. It will be Spinal Art, Bucko, Patuli, the Silly Zebra, and Maggie on the lineups there, and just looking at it, just kind of seeing where the people are. Spinal Art and the Silly Zebra, both freshmen. So not only are you playing league, you're going to your classes for the first time. Sophia, there's a lot of pressure to perform for yourself as a young player. Meanwhile, you've got a couple of seniors and some juniors that I'm sure are going to kind of coach the young freshmen in their first game of the season.
Absolutely. And going to classes for the first time in college, moving, going to residency and all of that, like people are really putting a lot of effort on doing a great job because as you said, it's so much to keep track at the same time. So it's definitely going to be Batuli, Maggie doing a little bit of help there, coaching to support them and guide them through all of this because it's only the first week and we've got about 8 weeks to go of league fall.
Let's take a look at the team they're taking on. BU Shield for Bradley University. Going to have Big Stingray Chung, Okari, MLV, Red Dog King, and Binston in the game. And they have mainly all upperclassmen. You do have that sophomore in the jungle for Young Man, but for the most part, senior, junior, junior, junior. We talked about that last game. We had a freshman-senior matchup in the mid lane. The senior was kind of dominating. We'll have to see how Stingray and company and how Okarian do as these sort of more established players here, as Bradley definitely has more experience on their side, Sophia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be so good to see these teams play for the first time here. I am not sure if you do know this information. Maybe it would be great, but I'm not sure if they have played here with the NECC before, if they're newcomers, because oh my, the amount of new teams and colleges that we have gotten this year with NECC all throughout all the games. We have League with around 200 plus teams. We have Valorant with more than 300 teams. Rocket League with a massive, yeah, it's unbelievable, with a massive presence as well. We have Super Smash Bros. And Overwatch with all that little different jazz with Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 2, and Rainbow Six as well. So it's a lot to expect here for this new fall 2022.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that there's, zeros in those numbers of how many schools there are, coming from someone who would have been impressed when the first school started playing esports, it's absolutely huge how the scene is exploding. Love the fact the NECC is giving people the chance to get on stream, and we get into game number one. They have already pro-drafted, so the draft might look a little weird if they start banning 80 carries after 80 carries have already been picked, but they pro-draft off-screen. Now we're ready to go. Co-College on the left, Bradley on the right, and we will see... The Akshan is a very interesting ban. It's a very interesting champion. Not one you usually see banned too often. So I'm assuming Ko maybe has some bad experiences with that champion to first ban him in this game number one.
Yeah, I think so too. Sometimes these bans are definitely on personal experience and just when you have a really bad time in a matchup, and that's super valid. You have to go for something that you're comfortable with, usually what you pick, and taking into consideration what you're going to ban as well. And this first phase of bans, we have Vigar and then Zaya for Bradley University.
Bradley also did ban the Riven. Did look like they forgot to lock that one in, but that is the first ban there as well. That there was no ban, so the Riven taken away from Spinal Art, who plays a ton of Riven. I think over 200 games this season on that champion. So they're not going to get their one trick of choice. Of course, for some of these players, probably going to learn for the first time that, yeah, you do get scouted in college. You can't just play the same champion like you do in solo duo queue on repeat. So Spinal Art instead going to get forced onto that Ornn into the Fiora matchup in the top lane, which will be a very interesting one with the tank versus the hyper here.
And alongside that Trundle there on the jungle, it can be very oppressive alongside Fiora against the Ornn, but it's also a champion that's super tanky. He's got a little bit of mobility, not that much, but a little bit, a couple of movements there that can make them go away. But they have a Zac alongside them as well, which is very interesting, going for those big engages with high CC.
And the one thing I'm seeing already from this co-college lineup, there is not a lot of damage, Sophia. You've got the Ornn, you've got the Zac. The Anivia will have a little bit, but this is just a lot of tankiness. This is just a lot of beef on the side of co-college. I'm very curious what AD carry they lock in, because it's probably going to be mainly up to the Silly Zebra to do a lot of the heavy lifting for this team when it comes to team fights.
Yeah, so far they have the beefiness, they have the engaging peel, great CC coming from all of these champions picked so far. They have banned the Jarvan there, where Bradley has chosen Set and Aatrox as their last bans, and confirming a Wukong for Co-College now as their last ban here. Nice to see it. Well, we have an Ezreal confirmed for Bradley. I think it's a great pick alongside Seraphine there on the bot lane. And wow, nice Misfortune. I think that's super solid. What do you think, Fish?
I just saw Misfortune get a pentakill, so I'm all for it. I think the way this team is set up too, with the Leona being picked in there for Maggie Yuri, this is simply going to be Zac, Ornn, Leona sets you up. Silly Zebra, you just have to hit the bullet time, and you should just absolutely melt the side of Bradley University. So I like the team comp. I'm a little concerned that if Silly Zebra falls behind in lane, you're not going to have any damage, and Co-College is just going to be swinging pool noodles around. But I like the setup around Silly Zebra. I want to say the freshman AD carry basically being told, look, you're here. We got you on campus. Now you got to carry us in your first game as a collegiate player on the stream, by the way.
I mean, they're doing everything to support this freshman ADC here. As you said, it's all the engage, the lockdowns with Leona, Zac, Ornn, and Anivia. Everybody's basically working for the Misfortune. The Silly Zebra will definitely have a good opportunity to shine there. But Azrael and Nautilus on that enemy bot lane looks a little difficult as well, because they have pressure just like Leona does with the engages, but Ezreal at least has an escape, whereas Misfortune doesn't. So I think it's going to be a little balanced out. On the one side, Bradley has Trundle, that it's, of course, super fast, deals a lot of damage, but doesn't have quick gets into fights, whereas Zac can be the weapon to do that from Co-College. So I think it's overall, it's a little balanced. On one team, tankier, the other team a little more versatile.
I mean, I do love the Trundle pick into the Zac and the Ornn. There's going to be multiple targets to hit for him to ult. That Trundle is going to just steal away those tanky stats, kind of remove a frontliner. But I think you're right. It is kind of, both very well-rounded team comps. I think the Anivia fits in very nicely for Co-College. Is going to have that sustained damage with the ult, maybe some nice chip damage with the E. I'm really curious, honestly, about this Fiora pick. If she gets really far ahead, builds those grievous wounds, starts to stack kind of that armor shred with the Black Cleaver, Ornn's not going to be able to 1v1 them. Zac is not really going to be able to assist, and this Fiora could just be a split-pushing madman. So this Fiora has got to be kept in check early, or she could just take over the game, honestly.
She really can. It can be such a massive power of destruction on sieging coming from Fiora. And not just that, as you said, on the team fights, especially with the Trundle, man, it really can get a little harsh for Co-College there. But I think the main thing for them is to keep a good distance and know when to engage, not be careful not to be picked off. So have a good distance, try to go win when the enemy team has already taken down like half health of the Drake or Herald or something like that, so they can get a little bit of an advantage there. Maybe going for numbers advantage as well, because after level 6, the champions on Bradley University can really melt down even the tankiest
Yeah.
of beasts on Co College.
You have the Seraphine as well. You have the Encore that's just going to set them all up in a perfect line as well. Yeah, I think as you said, once they hit level 6, it's going to be very interesting how the Zac will play the jungle because he does have some very interesting ganking opportunities. He has the Elastic Slingshot to really get over any wall, but are you really going to be ganking for an Orin into a Fiora? Are you really going to be looking for ganks for an Anivia into the Seraphine? So it might have to be in that bottom side of the map. But are you going to find a way onto an Ezreal for Zac? I think the Zac jungle might kind of just be stuck farming because he doesn't really have many great lanes to make his pressure felt early on, which I think something is that usually you want to do when you have that Zac because his ganks are so strong.
Yeah, but I think that at the same time, we might see not just Zac power farming, but also invading a lot, trying
Mhm.
to really predict where not just predict, but really pinpoint where the enemy jungler is, where Trundle is, and go to the opposite side of the map and steal all the jungle they can get, and just get those leftovers. I think
Mhm.
maybe Co College has to rely on that before they can get Misfortune super big to deal those amazing bullet times and destroy the whole enemy team.
Yeah, how fast that Misfortune gets fed is going to be the big question. Because if those bullet times, if she's 2, 3 items early on in the game, you're not getting to that Misfortune. If you're Bradley, you have to find ways to either disrupt the bullet time, avoid the bullet time, maybe use the Encore to stop the channel. It'll be very interesting. But game one here in our Emergence Midwest division, about to get underway. Co College at Bradley University. Who's going to claim game number one? Before we hop in, we talked a lot about the team comp, Sophia. What side are you leaning after seeing the drafts? Are you going Co-College or are you going Bradley here in game one?
I am super biased towards Misfortune, and you mentioned we had a pentacle with Misfortune last game, so I really am going for Co College. But as I said, I think it's tricky for them. They have to be very precise on how they
Mhm.
position themselves. But I'm going for Co College. How about you, Fish?
I feel like the tanks are just I hate playing against tanks, so maybe I'm biased the other way. I think I'm gonna go with Bradley. I just think at the end of the day, there's silly zebra can only do so much, and unless that Misfortune is 10-0 and something, 11-0 and something, they're just not gonna have that damage to get them over the hump. I think Bradley will take care of business. I think maybe just a little too many tanks. You had the Orin, you had the Zac. I don't think you need to throw the Leona in there for good mix. So I'll go with Bradley. But again, if these tanks get ahead, I don't want to see tanks win. That's really my biggest thing. I'm being biased. I don't want to see tanks win. I hate seeing tanks win. It's just so boring to play against, so boring to play. I'm sorry, Orin mains out there, but I think we should be ready to hop in and hopefully Orin and Zac fall right on their face.
Well, I'm not going to be going together with you. I'm not going to be rooting for that. But yeah, I agree with you that maybe they didn't have to put the Zac. They could have just stayed with On and Leona. Well, we'll see. It's all about the first game. They're still
Mhm.
testing the waters. They're testing the waters with college, with the freshmen here. Everything is new for them alongside NECC. So we'll see how these emergents are going to perform here tonight.
Yeah, as you said, I mean, game one, especially game one of the season, there's a lot of probably comfort picks, probably a lot of comps that you just practiced as a team. You're like, okay, this is what we want to bring out. Maybe they brought some flex queue games. We'll have to see exactly what they want to do. But I think you're right. I don't think this is super meta, super counter picky. It's like, look, this is what I'm comfortable on. This is what we've done some practice on. Let's just pick it. Again, I'm already very upset that Bradley or not Bradley, sorry, Co College is coaching their kids to pick tanks. Would have liked to see some more oomph, some more
I am proud.
damage.
I am proud.
But
I
we will.
am very proud.
I'm very upset. Looks like we might have had some issues going on, though. So we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will hop into game number one between Co College and Bradley here in the Emergence Midwest. So don't go anywhere. We're back with game number one in just a little bit on the NECC. Welcome back into the NECC. Look, longtime League of Legends players know it happens. There's spaghetti kind of hold this game together. So we are back. Co-College and Bradley. Everything's good. It's like
Oh
we
my.
might, well, maybe I spoke too soon.
It's the caster curse.
I tried to will it too hard. Again, everyone's played League of Legends here. We all know how this game works.
We all know the server, the client is all mum's bagoot. It's just how it is. We're very used to it.
So we'll have to see here. Hopefully, looks like Maggie Yuri was the one who disconnected. So hopefully they'll be able to get back in. We can get out of this pause. And we can hop into this game where both these teams, again, interested to see how the tanks work. We talked about it a lot. I think, again, that Fiora is going to keep a lot of eyes on. The Seraphine mid's an interesting one. You don't see her mid very often. She's usually, we saw Seraphine Senna actually in our last series. So interesting to see how that mid will want to play. Is it going to be more of the supportive Seraphine? Is it going to be more bursty Seraphine, dare I ask? I think that'll be an interesting kind of build path to keep our eye on as that game goes on for Bradley.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there are a couple of possibilities for Seraphine. We can talk about runes. We can talk about maybe going for the slow item. I don't know if she would do that against an Anivia. It just doesn't make much sense. You could also think about going for the burst, but at the same time, it's an Anivia. So she's just going to respawn as an egg. I don't know. I think if we talk about how Seraphine is going to play, it might be something more targeted towards late game and mid game, because early game, Seraphine is not going to do much against the Anivia, and neither is Anivia going to do much against Seraphine.
No, I mean, mid lane is basically just probably going to be a farm fest. I think both these laners will be tested on, have you done your last hitting warm-ups? Have you practiced? I mean, is it really going to be? I mean, how many minions do you miss here and there? Because as you said, Anivia probably not going to kill anyone. Seraphine probably not going to kill anyone. We are back. We are hopping into the game here. Game number 1. Co-College in the blue, Bradley in the red. And we'll hopefully be able to hop in here and see who's going to start off top. We got the teleport on server. Yeah, nobody's killing anyone in mid lane. They both have teleport. Nothing's happening.
Definitely nothing is happening. And she went for Ares. So even in this sort of quote-unquote boring matchup, Anivia has got the burst there. They've got the aftershock, no, the domination rune, yes. So maybe they're going to go for ganks on the mid lane alongside Bucko, the Zac.
We do see Bradley at least setting up for an early invade. Very interesting. Week number 1, you usually think you're kind of feeling things out. That is not what Bradley has in mind. We have a 5-man invade on the bottom side of the map, and Maggie Yuri, due to that disconnect, is late roaming over.
Oh, no.
This Leona... Oh, no, they're going to walk right into it, but they see them and dodge the dredge line, and now the 5-man invade just kind of all thrown off.
Yeah, but they've got a deep ward there. We see that Co-College hasn't put in any deep wards on the red side of the map. So, well, it's okay. No summoners were used, no kills were gotten, but they still have a little bit of vision to control that jungle there.
Red Dog King throwing out a Q there. Doesn't have the tier, so no early stacking, as they will actually end up finding out that Zac is not starting on his red buff. You see the pings going out. It is a solo start top lane, so no leash for Buckco. It's kind of interesting to see where these junglers are going to end up meeting, as they both start on opposite sides of the map.
They did, and we see that with the ping there. I hope they have good communication going on the Discord and all, because the bot lane themselves were a little confused about that decision. And, well, we have here the top lane, bot lane. As we would have imagined, Fiora would be able to push a little bit more. Bot lane, Azrael and Nautilus would be able to do the same. So, as I said in picks and bans, Co-College has to be on a more patient waiting game, but they're going for a hook here already.
Get the hook, they get the root onto Maggie Yuri. Quite a bit of damage goes out. No summoners burn, though, by that Leona. The tankiness allowing Leona to stay alive, but I like the early level 2 call from Binston on that Nautilus, trying to go in, make a play. They do level up. and now they're just going to try and poke down this Leona Misfortune. And a great time, I think, trying to catch them while they were trying to get the execute with the minion with the coin. And so great play there by the Nautilus, but they'll heal up. Oh, another hook is going to land. Root goes on them as well. The Ignite, but this time Maggie Yuri will be first to flash. Will stay alive, so again, nothing gained yet for Bradley besides a summoner for a summoner.
Yeah, it's a flash for an Ignite. Overall, the Ignite is going to be back up faster. So at this point, it's really Bradley putting pressure on the bot lane, guaranteeing those minions for Ezreal, taking the pressure on Misfortune, so she's falling a little bit behind, but Vincent's going deep here.
Zenith Blade for Maggie Yuri. They get the Shield of Daybreak as well. Looks like Vincent wanted to get the Dredge line during that cannon minion execute from the support item, which is a great counter to that Leona, but unfortunately just misses. Now we see Bucko. He's coming down. They don't even know he's there. Here's the Elastic Slingshot. Nice flash from the Nautilus. Is going to try and Q him to a minion, but misses. And Bucko, forced to flash away, still does have the Cell Division. As a flash for Red Dot King, he picks up first blood. Silly Zebra now has to be very careful, tries to bait out the hook. This should be a kill, but the flash away. They burn the heal. It's first blood, though, over to the Ezreal.
Yeah, we have a bot lane absolutely with
flash?
zero. Oh, the Hextech Flash trying to go in, get the Silly Zebra. But there were a lot of minions in front of them. The wave was stacked. And Misfortune, I think you should go base. You are in a very tough spot right here. But yeah, we have a deep engage coming from Bradley University that got countered by the Zac. Bucko came in, but they were too squishy. Would you believe that? to tank the amount of damage that was coming in from Ezreal and Nautilus. So they ended up almost falling, and Maggie Yuri fell on that place. So it was a support defending that team, as a good support should do. But so far, we have 1 kill on the board for Bradley University versus 1.
Yeah, unfortunately, the support score line's never going to look great, as you said, Sophia. You got to eat the deaths for your team, but I do think that Red Dog and Vincent have played it perfectly. They've harassed Leona to the point where Maggie Yuri was out of potions. We do get the Sheen and the tier pickup for this Ezreal, so Red Dog King is going to absolutely do a ton of damage. A Stingray is going to go in. Spinal are going to get stopped by the Trundle Pillar. Do they have enough damage onto this Ornn? One more Vital should be enough for the kill. The flash! He still hasn't got it. Finally does, but would not leave the tower, but there was no damage. So it's a suicide, so that's a 1-for-0 trade for Bradley.
Oh my, that ended up being an execute. That's such a shame. I think I saw a little misclick coming from Chi Youngman. I don't know. I saw something happening there. Maybe that was what got them killed at the end. But we really see how much Bradley is putting in pressure all around the map. We have the ganks going on. And even though Bucko was the one to start that early pressure, they fell behind. And as you said, they have the Sheen, they have the tier. And they're going to be stacking for days. They're already plus 10 farm ahead. And there's also, again, gank happening on top lane here. Yeah, big wave joining them. What do you think, Fish?
I mean, diving in Fiora is very risky. They do have the Call of the Forge God on Spinal Art. Yeah, I think, as you talked about from Chi Young Man, I think he tried to stop his auto because he thought Stingray would get the kill, and obviously Fiora with the kill, a lot more impactful than Trundle, so just a bit of a miscommunication.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter, as you said, it's the execute because Ornn didn't do any damage, so you really don't lose anything. And now Bradley's even going to go pick up this first dragon. They're going to get the Infernal Dragon without any contest. They see Bucko's top lane. They simply say, all right, this is a free dragon for us.
Yeah, good map awareness from Bradley University. They had the push on bottom lane. They know they can have Ezreal with that much mobility alone against Co-College's bot lane, Silly Zebra and Maggie Yuri. And the matchups really seem to be played very, very well from BU Shield now. And they are performing a good job with getting the objectives across the map and taking the advantage on counter ganks and even ganks that come from themselves.
David just farming well, as we do see a dredge line is going to go out onto Maggie Yuri, a ton of damage. They do get the Zenith Blade onto Red Dog King. They pick up one onto the Nautilus. Ignite is ticking. Shield of Daybreak is going to land the stun. Heal comes out to try and keep the Leona alive. Red Dog King trying to trade down that Leona. Can't quite find it. But here comes Youngman looking to try and get the counter gank. The pillar doesn't quite stop Silly Zebra. Make it rain, just going to miss. The Ezreal and the Misfortune both incredibly low. Did Trundle get in range? Oh, the D forward, and Ezreal picks up the kill. A great counter gank. And the True Shot Barrage! Oh, it's a disaster in the bot lane for Co College.
Oh, Core College! No! Red Dog, amazing play there with the E forward, as you said. The blink, well executed, dealing damage. QW combo, taking down Misfortune. And poor Maggie just there deciding to go base. Even though there was an Ezreal almost on level 6. And mid lane here, Okarin is, well, they're just having that boring fight, as we said. Vince is now going to choose to engage on Anivia. Or maybe they are.
So far, we haven't seen the Zac passive pop. We haven't seen the Anivia passive pop, so I don't think either of those will be in too much of a risk of dying. But we do see, as you mentioned, the roam up from Binston over towards that mid lane. And again, as you said, the CS pretty much dead even. Slowly a lead building here for the Seraphine, but neither of them really in danger of dying. A little bit of damage going out on both ends. But Peter Louis, it's the nice E there, but again, probably going to be focused on farming up that wave, just trying to stack that tier as much as he can. We do get a flash dredge line from Binston. We saw that corner of our screen, but it missed, so Silly Zebra stays alive.
Yeah, they stay alive, but really Bradley is showing how much they're confident with these picks, how much they're confident with that positioning and map awareness. So they're doing a great job at farming, as well as keeping that 10 CS lead on the Misfortune. Binston is aggressive for days. They're using the Hextech Flash at any opportunity they see fit. And I think that's a good one. But Akarin here has Anivia on very low health. And it's so close to the LT pops. And it's going to be Anivia turning into an egg for the first time in a Game Fish.
We do finally see one of those revive passes, as you mentioned. So all of that just to watch Peter Louis come back with full health. Though he does not have any mana, as Okarin is going to stop him from backing. So the longer they can hold that Anivia there, the better. The teleport is not up for either mid laner, so Peter Louis is going to lose quite a bit of CS, maybe even a plate or two for this back. But instead it looks like the mid laner backing. Looks like we're going over to Rift Herald here, though. Bucko is here. We are going to get a rotate down from Spinal Art. Stingray should be right behind him. Paul the Forge God is going to be called in. Chungun is going to get knocked up in the air. A following knockup will happen to Smite for help. But here comes Stingray as they do pick up one onto the Trundle. But I don't know how long this is going to survive. The Cell Division is proc. Spinal Art just trying to kite out. He does have the anti-healing. He stays alive. The parry, though, shuts him down. Zac will fall as well. And Anivia, no egg passive, will have to flash away. It's a 2-for-1 for Bradley University.
Yeah, and even though it was 2-for-1 for BU Shield, it was on the guarantee the Herald. It was Spinal Art that guaranteed this. So that's... Wait, what? I was absolutely sure that it said that it was on. I'm very sorry. So it was Fiora that guaranteed the Herald. And Anivia is now dealing a lot of damage on Seraphine, taking this as a shutdown on them, getting a lot of gold from this.
I don't think I wasn't ready for that Anivia damage, and neither was the Seraphine. As you said, the shutdown, that is huge, though. That Herald in Stingray's pocket is going to be very concerning. Not only will he get the empowered back, but you look at the CS in top lane, 93-43. That is a very fed, already Divine Sunder finish, first mythic item in the game. Fiora, that is going to be a lot of problems for Co College, and that's kind of what I was worried about a little bit, Sophia, is that this Fiora gets ahead. She can't be stopped. If you get Bucko, is going to try and go in here. There's no one to attach the Q2. He flashes forward. Does not pop the last bounce. Chungun Man is now roaming down. Can't get a Trundle Pill in the flash. Force from Silly Zebra.
Nice!
Charge, excuse me. There's the bullet time, but it's not quite enough to finish them off. They do get a 3-man Zenith Blade, and that's the turnaround Co College need. Red Dog King is able to keep his distance, but there's the bullet time we talked about. Oh no!
Oh, Maggie!
Not again.
Oh, the flashbacks. Oh no! But Fish, what a fight there on bot lane. It really looked like it was going for BU Shield. But the bullet time, as I said, the positioning coming from Sealy Zebra can be very essential for the turnaround on team fights. The bullet time was beautiful. We thought it wasn't going to be enough, but Meguri still had that little bit of life to get the Zenith Blade and guarantee the double shot from Misfortune. So it was very nice, and as you said, exactly what Code College needed. We have the second Drake on the board. A Herald has been popped on top lane, and it's going to deal half the damage on his turret here. We'll probably see maybe a team fight going on for this next Drake, but Misfortune is still a little bit far away.
Misfortune slowly walking down. Red Dog King is 4-0-0 on the Ezreal. The fact they couldn't pick up that shutdown in that last fight does hurt a little, but there is also no teleport on Spinal Art, while Stingray does have one himself. So if the fight does break out, Fiora can roam down, while this Ornn will force me probably try and stop the teleport as a last resort. But so far, it's another plate for this Fiora. That's now 3 solo plates for Stingray. And that gold lead in the top lane just expanding now. It's double the CS almost, and 3 plates. We do see here, the fight has broken out. We do get the subjugate. Is going to go on to Bucko. He's going to get a nice stretching strikes onto 2 of them. Here comes the True Shot Barrage. Can't quite land. Zac is the first one to fall. Depth Charge going to land onto the Anivia. This should be a kill. The egg won't save them this time. It's 2-0, and that should be a free dragon for Bradley.
Yeah, we see the Misfortune is going to retreat as well. If I was them, I would have been close and tried to steal with the bullet time. I know the cooldown is very big, but I think it's worth it. But they decided to go for something safer. They're freezing this lane here, or at least trying to, as Ezreal is pushing a lot. They have the pressure. They have Nautilus super confident on going in. So, and of course, the 501 650 gold bounty Ezreal with more than 30 CS on the lead.
The Red Dog King is going to be... Red Dog King and Stingray are both massive problems for Code College right now, and I'm curious how they deal with either of them. Is Fiora looking to probably secure this first tower? Is Spinal Art doing what he can? Jose is going to come out. The tower shots will slow the Fiora down, but enough life stealing in the kit that I think this tower will fall sooner rather than later. And yeah, as you said, Red Dog King also just very far ahead. And this is where I was concerned about, Sophia. The tanks are great, but they're not going to survive very long against 2 fed carries.
It's true, it's true. And Ezreal already has the Trinity. This Fiora is going to melt with the true damage. Also alongside Trundle, swapping those stats, as you said. So, yeah, I know. I'm just such a good fan of Misfortune.
Hey, we've already seen 1 great bullet time. I don't think it's over yet. If you get this seeded played into the ult, a huge CC chain onto Red Dog King. He does survive, but the bullet time picks up the kill. Magiri does get the shutdown, but it's a shutdown nonetheless for Code College. Meanwhile, mid lane, we do have an engage here onto the Anivia. Crane dropping very low. Young Man can't quite get the kill, though they do force the flash from the Anivia. Meanwhile, Stingray also dropping low in the top lane. There's still a call to Forge God.
Yeah, the boost in confidence.
Yeah, Code College not bowing down at all. They get a great kill in one lane. They nearly get a kill topside. They're still in this game.
They very much are, Fish. And as you said, they got the kill on the almost unstoppable Ezreal on the bot lane. And I think that was very precise. It was super great. Ezreal has to be the one thing that when you have an opportunity to go in on them and lock them down, of course, with the Leona, with the ulti, with the stun, it has to be as soon as you have an opening, you go in, and that's what they did. It was great. Ezreal didn't use any summoner spells. They didn't have flash and they didn't use heal. They knew they were going to die, so that's understandable. But yes, I think that really gave a burst in confidence for Code College. And as we saw, top lane, Spinal Art was dealing a bunch of damage on Stingray. And talking about that, it's a fight springing here on the Herald pit. And it's probably going uncontested for BU Shield once again. Is it? Looking at their positioning, it looks like Surfish.
Yeah, they got the flash and the ult out of Bucko there. They tried to catch the Zac, and yeah, after that, You said it's an uncontested Herald. I am curious where this Herald will go. We still haven't seen a tower fall yet for either team. Oh, we might get a re-engage here. Maggie Yuri's in there. Here's the elastic slingshot, and it gets stolen by the Zac. Well, the Forge God is going to come in. A nice 3-man knockup, plus the True Shot Barrage flying in. But Red Dog King is here. Can he land the CC? Encore gonna charm all 4 members. And Ezreal can just throw out Q after Q. Unfortunately, flash forward by Okarin. He's going to get the root onto Maggie Yuri. As we talked about, like a good support does, they will sacrifice themselves for the good of the team.
Thank you so much for your efforts. Fs in chat, paying respect for Maggie Yuri there. But my, oh my, what a turnaround for Co College. I think it really came down to them. Okay, I think we understand a little bit what is Bradley's plan, and I think we have a good counter to that. And it's Zac going on this Ezreal, as I said, any opportunity you can, you might as well try to get him. He is 6-1-2, so even though it's not a shutdown or a bounty there anymore, they are super powerful. But amazing steal from Bucko. The slingshot into the smite, guaranteeing the Herald. And I think it was a great play from both teams because we saw how much it could have been sided for Co College, but the 3-man knockup, Encore, and True Shot Barrage from Bradley really turned it around so that it was more equalized.
Oh, Maggie Yuri does get the Zenith Blade, goes all the way in, but now is without their team. But unfortunately, Bradley's missing the 2 carries. The bullet time goes out, but great 3-man Encore to stop the bullet time. Let's Bounce going to be used. Another Zenith Blade. Here's the True Shot Barrage. Teleport from Stingray, but it's just too little. Too late. The Fiora has joined the party, but at what cost? Unfortunately, Bradley got caught. Dragon had spawned, and Fiora and Ezreal just simply weren't even close to the Dragon Pit.
And it really is coming down to how much Co reasserted their priorities and how they are paying attention to where the enemies are in the map. So they saw once again an opportunity because of the lack of presence from Ezreal to just go in, spend all their resources, and make sure that we're going to be outnumbered for the Drake to secure it. So super well played. I'm very, very happy to see that. And as we have been seeing, these two teams really are doing their best to keep on top of this game.
Herald does go down from Bucko. I don't think it will get the charge up. They should be able to slow down the Herald enough and poke down the eyeball. And Maggie Yuri maybe looking for an engage. And yeah, the Herald will fall before a charge goes out. So the stolen Herald doesn't do much of anything. We get another True Shot Barrage. Silly Zebra taking about a quarter of their life, but nothing more than that as both these teams focus on mid lane. Just trying to siege it down, maybe set up for this Baron that has fallen onto the map here if they can get a nice pick somewhere.
Yeah, maybe. I think for Baron, it might be a little too early. I think they still need to get a better fight on another side. We have Okarin here going for the split push. I think, yeah, they are a little concerned. They're going to stay in the bush, go back, as they don't know where the Anivia is. Well, there they are. They have appeared. And here, close to the Baron, we have another fight going on.
You got the Hex Flash for Vincent Birch here. We are going to get a nice Solar Flare onto Red Dog King. Teleport being channeled by the Anivia Call. The Forge God going to be used. Gets a knockup onto the Nautilus.
Nice.
They CC down the Fiora, and that is 1 carry gone. Red Dog King now in the fight. You've got the Encore from Okarin maybe going to be used, but the CC from Co College has just been too strong, and they just get another great pick.
It has. But I am very happy with that flash forward wall from Pitulio. Yes, Pitulio. It was super nice. Very different to see such an aggressive Anivia coming into play with that much confidence. And it ended up being a good fight, as you said. They got one person, they got Stingray, a super powerful threat on the side of Bradley University. We still have a little long until the next Drake plus Final Art is pushing this top lane here. The outer turret is going to go down. And yeah, I think what I mentioned in Picks and Bans about how Co should play this, I think they're doing it pretty well. And I think maybe Bradley needs to be the one to be more aggressive now, because we have seen Co College initiate those fights too many times now, whereas Bradley is supposed to be the aggressive one. What is your opinion, Fish? What do you think they should be doing?
No, I totally agree with you, because every time Coke College has had the chance to initiate, whether it's with the Call to Forge God, whether it's with the Elastic Slingshot into the Stretching Strikes from the Zac, they are finding a member of Bradley and just CCing them until that person dies. So I think you're right. You've got to get away for an encore to start the fight. Then you got to subjugate probably either the Ornn or the Zac, and that's got to be your focus target. But the thing we have to keep in mind, and maybe the reason that Bradley is being cautious, is that Cell division is back online. The Bucko hasn't come close to dying in quite a while. The Anivia egg back online. Those are going to be multiple kills you have to get onto Coke College. It's really like a 7-on-5 right now with the number of people you have to kill in team fights. And I think that's why Bradley's being a little bit hesitant. But no, I think you're totally right, Sophia. I think you've got to be the aggressor, because if you let Coke College initiate, they're just going to pick a target, CC him down, and they're going to be dead. It's already 4-on-5. Ooh, nice flash. They're not done yet?
Yeah.
Bucko couldn't get in range, unfortunately.
They are not done yet, but we see here that maybe the aggression is coming from Bradley, but I don't think it has to come from a blink forward on an alone Ezreal.
Yeah, Red Dog King, I know you're 6-1 and 2. I know you've got the 2 items here. You finished your Mirror Mana, but I don't think you're looking to try and get a pick. If you had to press the attack, maybe you could burst down that Misfortune, but I don't think that was the case, as he does have the Conquerors. We do see Stingray. He at least procs a Vital on Maggie Yuri, but nothing more, as Dragon spawns in 30 seconds. Ornn and Zac both rotating down, though Ornn does have the teleport. But I would say that's the other thing I want to see from Bradley. You talked about, Sophia, what I want to see. I want to see Stingray split push. Put this Fiora in another lane. You're hanging around your team way too much. You're losing topside pressure to Spinal Art. Make use of your teleport. Make use of the fact that, again, I don't know if Spinal Art can 1v1 you. They do have a level on you now. But Stingray has fallen off. Speaking of Stingray, he walks right into Bucko. The Let's Bounce is going to be used. Nice Ripose there to get the stun. Encore's going to go out, lands on the 3 here for True Shot for Raj. Gets a great amount of damage onto the India, but there's the egg. Bullet time is going to be used, and Fiora's the first one to go down. Cell division now proc. Here's these revive passes we've talked so much about. The Zac going to try and get back in the fight. Nagiri goes down. The Zac will fall, but I think it's going to be just too much damage from Bradley University. Spinal Art has to walk away. They finally get a team fight win, and they're going to pick up a dragon here, and they're going to put themselves on soul point.
Yeah, great come around from Bradley University there. It was an engage coming from Bucko, but I think people really got cramped up together. They lined up for their perfect encore. The 3 people, ulti from Wakarin. We had the bullet time, but as you said, Misfortune has to be very ahead to be able to take down as many people as that so quickly. They not only take the Drake there, but also the mid turret here. So I think Bradley must have noticed they still have the upper hand in regards to itemization, in regards to damage, and in regards to, well, if they line up, we have True Shot Barrage, we have Encore, we have Vincent's ulti. So, speaking of Vincent, that engage was lovely. The last second ulti on City Zebra, followed by the hook, and guaranteeing the shutdown on them was crucial to finish the fight on top. So, I think this is a very competitive scenario from both teams, and that they have to be very cautious how they decide to fight Fish.
And I think it's a great job by Bradley. I mean, yes, Stingray got engaged on, but they quickly saw, look, Spinal Art's got to teleport in. Let's pull the trigger while that teleport is channeling. It's still 4 seconds, and I think that was really what changed the fight. I think if Spinal Art's there, that Call of the Forge God probably comes out immediately. Probably shuts down exactly the Encore True Shot Barrage combo you're talking about. But a great job. You had him in a 4v5. You still got to use that teleport onto a ward. And unfortunately, Spinal Art just simply could not get in the fight in time. And they kick out the dragon, but they still got 3.5 minutes till they get that Infernal Soul that would really pay off this early dragon stacking. They throw some wards around Baron, but again, I don't think unless you get a 3 or 4 man pick, either of these teams have much interest in this Baron. They're just making sure that it doesn't get stolen from underneath their noses. So we'll just push out lanes and make sure we soak XP for both teams.
And let's have a look at the ward positioning here. We have Co College with a couple of pink wards around the pit, around that top river, whereas we have Bradley with the opposite. the Tri-Bush and the Drake Pit water with the pinks. And interesting to see that they're actually rotating now for that Baron that we thought was going to be a little later in the game. I don't know if they can melt this quick enough before Core College arrives here, Fish.
Yeah, Okarin needs to channel the teleport now. They're going to try and burn it down at sub 900. They do get the kill. Here come Call the Forge God and Bucko. The bullet time is going to do quite a bit of damage. Two-man knockup as well. Finally, the Seraphine gets into the fight. Can they keep Red Dog King alive with a great encore? Yes, they can. It's a 2-for-1 trade right now. Spinal Art trying to throw out as much damage, and unfortunately, it looks like Co-College tank lineup has run out of damage, Sophia, as they're trying to get a kill. They get the shutdown onto Ezreal. Chunky Man gonna try and get a kill onto Anivio. Karen gets the root. Will he follow it up? Oh, the Aerie doesn't quite get the kill.
So close! Oh no!
It's
Oh
going
no!
over?
Oh my god. I thought they were going over. That would have been a massacre.
I know Karen doesn't know that he could have easily picked up the kill, but yeah, that Baron fight, you were right. I thought Co-College was going to engage in time, but Sophia, it just looks like the tanks are running out of damage. I mean, that bullet time didn't do nearly enough, and Red Dog King lived forever at low HP with the healing from Seraphine because the orange just simply isn't doing enough damage right now.
Yeah, especially alongside Anivia. Anivia is also not dealing as much damage here, but we have a big fight going 3v3 here on the bot lane, Fish.
Bucko pops, let's bounce, just simply gets out of the way. We did see the flash freeze go out onto Stingray, and he walks away. So all three members, excuse me. Winston did not pick up Baron either, but all three Baron members will stay alive. And now we're 60 seconds from Infernal Soul, and this is exactly what Bradley has their eyes on. You pick up Infernal Soul, these tanks, even as tanks, are going to have their HP bars melted from that Infernal Soul damage. This is very crucial that Co-College does not let this dragon go over to the side of BU.
Yeah, BU has to guarantee that doesn't happen because they're already dealing a lot of damage to these tanks here, and they're going to pick off the Zac, but Magyuri just around the corner with the ulti, saving them from a very, very close, so
nice.
close death. What a flash.
Unfortunately, that flash does mean that Bucko, if he wants to steal this dragon, is going to have to take a one-way ticket in with the Elastic Slingshot. They will have the River Scuttle Ward, so they will have some eyes on the side of what BU wants to do. And right now, Spinal Art is just simply split pushing. It does look like that's actually going to force, right before Dragon, both Ezreal and Fiora channel the backs. What looked like a free dragon for BU is now a very scary spot. Teleport coming in from Spinal Art. Call the Forge God is going to be used. Shiam Man dropping low in the pit. He will eventually fall over even with that subjugate. Okarin is going to try and run away. A flash from Winston. And BU just kind of hands over what looked like a free dragon with a couple of very oddly timed backs.
Yeah, maybe it was a little miscommunication, but they're not giving up. They're coming back in. We have the ulti on Silly Zebra coming from Nautilus, and Ezra is right there. The bullet time. Zac Bucko guarantees the Drake, but everybody's just falling one after the other. Oh, Winston almost falls down too. Zac is going to take them instead, and Red Dog is chasing this green blob that goes down as well. But it was a delay on that Fire Soul.
Yeah, man, the Anivia barely survives. There's no true shot barrage yet from the Ezreal, so the Anivia will not get sniped like we've seen so many times this game. But yeah, as you said, has to be a miscommunication. I understand Stingray channeling the teleport to stop Spinal Art. The Spinal Art had the teleport to come back down, but the back from Red Dog does delay this Infernal Soul. They still won the team fight. Ended up being a 3-for-4 in favor of Bradley, but still a very interesting call that's just going to slow this team down. Our next objective up in about a minute 40 seconds with that, what would be second Baron for BU. So we'll see if they can coordinate things a little bit better for this next major objective.
Yeah, let's have a look at the itemization. Let's have a look at the CS here. We have BU really on the lead on every single role, and Azrael has not fallen whatsoever. As you said, they're always keeping themselves alive with the healing from Seraphine, so they only died 2 times in this game. 10-7. Almost a 100 CS lead on Misfortune. They have 4 completed items. Now with the Mercurial Sash there, and they really are going to keep themselves alive as much as they can because they are the power force of attack in BU Shield. We thought maybe Fiora was going to be that one, but it clearly is Red Dog. So we need patience from College once again. I believe that what they need is to read well the enemy, get pickoffs like those, or just wait for Bradley to initiate something and stall them as much as they can for Misfortune to be able to deal the damage, as she's not busting them as quickly as she would like them to do.
Yeah, unfortunately for College, I mean, you mentioned the Ezreal now, 4 items, working on his almost halfway to his 5th item. Silly Zebra just has the 2, the upgraded Kraken Slayer from the Horn and the Bloodthirster. It's like probably working on an Infinity's Edge with that BF Sword and the Crit Cloak, as the Executioner's Calling to help kind of counter the healing that Seraphine and Fiora are doing. But again, this Ezreal just going to be outputting so much more damage. His bullet time's not going to be hitting too hard. The Solar Flare does miss. The Elastic Slingshot into the root, into a stun, into the follow-up root. Bucko not been able to move. Can they finish him off? Yes, they can. Call of Forge God does come in. So both junglers will go down. But does side of College have enough damage to snipe from downtown? Silly Zebra goes down, and it's all up to the Anivian in a 1-on-4. You're not winning this one. The 8 form does come out. Vinston will stay alive. It's a 4 for 1 in exchange for Bradley, and now I think they could just end the game at this point. They don't have the minions, but they should have them a little bit here, and I think they're just going to go for game.
Yeah, they're going to go for game, and that was an amazing fight from them. Unfortunately, College was aggressive there, and when they saw they missed Ezreal, they should have just backed, waited for the cooldowns again, or just a better opportunity. But unfortunately, Bucko went very deep. They left Silly Zebra behind. They got knocked up. Vincent were on top of them, making sure they weren't going anywhere. And as you said, the snipe from downtown from Macarian, oh my, that encore really made the audience cheer.
I thought they could have ended the game there, but instead, they go for the safe play. Oh. I wanted to see him end it. I wanted to see the aggressive play, but I understand. You have something crazy happen. The gold lead is almost 8K, but Baron is up. They are still objective bounties out for the side of College. That Baron would be even more of a boost in their pocket. But you had Zach had just respawned. You have the Fiora who's got 3 items. You have the fully built Ezra. You got a 25 stack Magi's from Rotarian, who I just noticed. I mean, this Bradley team can finish the game really whenever they want.
It's true. It's true. They were a little too cautious there. I agree with you. But I don't blame them. This is the first game of the season, first game of this match, and it's going to be so many ultis on top of each other, stacking Encore on top of Slingshot and Bullet Time. And everybody is falling behind. We have 3v3 here. They're going against Anivia, but it's so much happening, bitch.
Well, Stingray does go down, but he trades his life, so it's a 1v2. Okarian, can he keep the Magi's alive as Bucko does come back from the Cell Division? And, I mean, that's the power. That's the comp we've been hyping up, right, the whole time. You get everybody right in a line. You pop the bullet time. Even if Silly Zebra only has the 3 items now with the Infinity's Edge finish, it's still a ton of damage. The Seraphine with the 25 stack Magi's is going to have quite a bit of damage, but not enough to steal away the dragon. So it's an objective bounty here. 4 kills as well. The Anivia doing quite a bit of damage. They actually should get the kill. The Encore perfectly. Zanyas, they get the huge shutdown. 15 or 10 stacks off the Magi's as well, and College not going down without a fight.
What a play, Petunia! My God, amazing! amazing. Going in so confident on Seraphine, knowing they were going to dodge the ability. They dodged the snare. I think they got hit by a Q, but it wasn't enough damage to take them down. And when the Encore was activated, that lovely, lovely Zonius, great job followed up by Bucko there and taking down that Magi's from 25 to 15 now, Fish.
That's a huge loss of ability power for Okaren. Might be able to stack it up in another fight as we do have Baron up on the map. I again really would like to see Stingray try and split push. He is on the bottom side of the map. Both him and the Anivia do have that teleport though. And I don't know if this is a fight that the Anivia wins. So the 8 form was not popped in that last fight, so Stingray does have to be careful, taking a ton of damage. Does have the Maul of Malmortius. Instead, the Sterix Gauge will be the first thing to pop as the objective bounties do fall off. Meanwhile, his team over on that Baron. We get a teleport coming out from the Seraphine just to try and get closer into the fight. This could be a 4-on-4. Bucko gonna go in. Red Dog King gonna go over the wall, create some distance. First kill is onto the jungler for Bradley. A great 3-man encore though. Baron gets picked up by the Zac, but he will be taken down. Stingray with a great ripple play to get the stuns. Final art sniped out from Red Dog King. It's a triple kill though for Silly Zebra. Can't quite finish off the Ezreal, who's firing off as many shots as they can, but they're the last one standing. But the base in danger now. Everybody's got it back. They might lose the Nexus turret here. Can't quite see the health on it. I think the Baron empowered minions are going to be able to play some nice defense. So Coke College staying alive once again.
Once again, we saw so many comebacks happening. We had the delay on the first possibility of Infernal Soul for BU. They denied it. Second time, once again, another Infernal Soul for Coke College. They're both now on Soul Point, whereas Coke College has 3 Infernals. And if they get the Infernal Soul, that's definitely going to suffice for the amount of damage they were lacking on the bullet time, because they have the tanks, they have the CC, and that might be enough for them for this next possible fight here. But the way Bucko went in so confident and smited it away, just yoinked it, but just underneath BU's eyes. They got the Baron, helped them push here, helped them protect the Nexus turret, as you mentioned before, and that is definitely going to be Coke College maintaining themselves up that game and denying the victory for BU College once again for the 4th time in this game.
Yeah, 4th, maybe even 5th time at this point. The other thing is BU's not getting any stronger. The Seraphine's full build, the Ezreal's full build, and Young Man might be caught out here. He's going to get hit by the call. The Forge God knocked him in the air. He's going to go down before his team can even get to him, and they're just going to have to leave him to die. It's now Red Dog King has to get away.
Silly Zebra is finally dealing that damage that we want to see from this Fortune. And as you said, they're not getting any stronger. They're full build, and who is still growing is Coke College.
MF still working on their last item there. Silly Zebra looking to try and turn things around after a slow start. We're getting into the 40 minutes, as you pointed out, Sophia. Both teams now on Soul Point. Somebody's getting an Infernal Dragon in the next minute or so. Once it spawns on the map, we might have a 4th Baron potentially spawning here a little bit later on in the game. We will have to see, because right now neither team give it an inch. And I will say the only downside for Coke College, they don't have many turrets. They only have the tier 1 top and the tier 1 bot. They still got to go through both mid turrets, so they still have to win quite a few fights to win this game.
Yeah, but at the same time, if we have Coke College getting one good fight after getting a buff or something like that. Oh, is that a flash from Ezreal? Yes, it is. Red Dog flashed here, and Coke College is going in for another fight.
Here comes the call. The Forge God. The Encore did land onto 3 of them. Oh, it's a shutdown onto Silly Zebra. The damage, the bullet time, it's all gone. For the next 50 seconds, can Coke College survive without their AD carry? Bucko gonna go in. Nice dodge by Red Dog King. They don't really have any ults left besides the Zac ult. The Dragon will be started by Bradley University. Can they finish it off? Bucko gonna go over the wall. No, he cannot secure an Infernal Soul. Finally picked up by the side of BU. They'll be able to kill off the Cell Division passive, and now 60 seconds on the jungler. Is this enough time for BU to win the game is our question.
It's possible, it's possible. They have the soul, they have the minions here. They only have one inhibitor in front of them before the Nexus turrets. And they have the damage to take down those structures. So, well, Co-College, you've really got to pull a trick here.
2 seconds left on Silly Zebra. Can they stay alive enough? Great Zanyas to dodge the encore Stingray with the Riptide to stay immune.
Ow!
Here's the bullet time. Here's the call of Forge God. The inhibitor does go down. Nautilus, the first one to fall. Stingray trying to stay alive. They trade 1-for-1 and both 80 carries pick up a kill. The Anivia egg is procced. But Pete will stay alive, and BU will be forced to retreat once again, losing their mid and support.
Pitulio really pulling off those Zonias in amazing timings. It was because of that, because BU was really going for them, for that damage output from from Co-College. They were coming for Anivia, and they were already committed down on underneath the turrets, and the timing on that Zonias to allow Misfortune to come back, Silly Zebra with the bullet time and take down, I think 3 people that was, from BU College, and stopping that push was incredible. Really what they needed. If that wasn't the case, I believe BU would have ended the game there. But it's 30 seconds on the clock for the next Baron, and it might as well be the last thing we see in this game, Fish.
At this point, I would not rule out seeing the Elder Dragon the way this game has gone. We still have 4 minutes on that. The death timers are now up to 60 seconds each. So either team, if you get maybe 3 for 2, a 5 for 3, excuse me, maybe a 5 for 4, you could potentially win the game depending on who stays alive, because those respawn timers are just growing and growing. But Baron is up. There is a River Scuttle ward. Well timed by Co-College to make sure that River Scuttle ward lasts through the spawn of Baron, so you're not going to be able to sneak it if you're BU. You do have Stingray on the bottom side of your screen pushing through that bot lane, finally trying to get that split push Fiora going, but is it too little, too late is going to be the question. As Co-College will clear out the wards, they'll start up the Baron here.
Yeah, and they're melting it down pretty quickly, Fish.
No Seraphine in the fight at all, but it's stolen with the true shot barrage from Red Dog King. He keeps his team in the game, just kiting it out with the fantastic seal. Now Fiora might be a huge problem. They're pushing to the bottom side of your map. They already have 1 turret down. The rest of the team trying to stop the backs. A great 2-man encore does come out. A 1-for-1 trade as Red Dog King staying alive. The Guardian Angel is going to proc, and I think that is GG. 3 members down. Silly Zebra had a back to try and stop Fiora. And I think this will do it for BU unless Silly Zebra can win this fight.
Silly Zebra! Oh my god, the flash!
Oh!
And the... Oh my god, the Q onto the Stingray. But it's just Silly Zebra against Baron, against minions, against 2 people. But Anivia has spawned as well, and this might actually be a possibility for Co-College to stop this push once again.
25 seconds on Bucko and Maggie. Can Pete and Silly Zebra hold the game? They're out of Nexus turrets. Silly Zebra's trying to burst down the Trundle, and they do it! They hold on! The Nexus is exposed, but they're still in the game!
Turns out, Fish, you were correct. We're probably going to see this Elder Drake in action.
There's still a teleport on Stingray. I'm curious to see if he tries to set up a backdoor play, because you do still have 2 super minion waves that are going to be constantly shoving the Co-College base. I mean, they have fantastic wave player with the Anivia, with the Misfortune. But if they go out of their base for this Elder Dragon, keep your eye on Stingray. Can a minion wave shove in? This is going to be a very, very tough task for Co-College to manage the minion waves and try and contest this Elder Dragon in 90 seconds.
Yes, it will. With the minions there, as much as they're pushing super minions, we have a good clear from Misfortune with all the damage that she has right now with the 3 dragons. with Anivia. The clear is there, but as you said, if they go out of base, and they need to, because they have to contest this Elder. If the Elder goes to one team or the other, it's probably going to be GG. And I know viewers there that we've said there's a couple of things here would indicate a GG, but these two teams are really grasping onto this victory as much as they can, and they're pulling it on like a tug of war.
I mean, and we're running out of ways for these teams to get better. I mean, almost everybody is 6 items at this point. It looks like Stingray and Spinal Art looking for a couple of final upgrades here, but for the most part, everyone is fully built. Now you kind of get to the part of the game, is it worth selling your boots for that extra bit of damage? So far, the answer appears to be no for just about everybody. But I mean, that's really about all you can do. Mid inhibitor does respawn. Nagiri gets hit by the combo, but really, there's no damage there quite yet. We do see Fiora and Spinal Art going to run into each other. Elder Dragon has entered the rift. Somebody's got to take it home and potentially win the game. Who's it going to be? Bucko going to go in on the backline, immediately try and jump away. Meanwhile, the top laners fighting it out. Who is going to claim this Elder Dragon? It's finally started by the side of BU. Another go in here. They get a great ult on the Red Dog. The 4-man encore, though, is going to line them up perfectly. But the bullet time from Silly Zebra picks up one. Red Dog gets another. It's a 2-for-1. Bucko trying to stay alive. He can't quite do it. Another great Darius from Leo, but unfortunately, it's too little, too late. And BU will pick up 4-man at the Dragon, and they should be able to close out this game as Stingray makes it the ace. And that's the GG in game number 1.
That is a GG for one of the most exciting first games of a season I have ever seen. Oh, I can't believe this game going on for almost 50 minutes, fish. I was sweating, I swear.
I mean, that game felt like it probably could have been over 30 minutes ago. There were so many opportunities for Bradley. Again, they probably are looking back like, man, we could have ended this game back when Fish asked this to, but we tried to play the safe route. Absolutely unbelievable. I mean, I think really it was, I will say, Bradley favored most of the game, even though Co-College kept it alive. Them winning at any point past 30, 35 minutes would have been a miracle, Sophia. But fantastic resiliency to hold it on. And really, in the end, Red Dog with that third Baron steal with the True Shot Barrage is pretty much what secured that game for Bradley once they finally got to that last team fight.
It really was, because as you mentioned, the push was too great. And finally, we had Stingray doing what you told them to do from the very start. Do the split push. Ornn has nothing on you trying to defend the turrets. They have got nothing on you. And then that, once again, unfortunately, we saw Bucko going a little too deep, a little too early on the fight for the Elder Drake, and that really caused them to kind of misposition. We had Zach already with no flash and trying to engage. They had a good ulti with Leona on Ezreal, but the positioning was just a little bit off, and Encore hitting everybody really nailed down the final shot to make sure that BU was going to take that game on that bucket.
Yeah, and you can really see how much Co-College needed that Ornn ult as that kind of final whammy. Wasn't in that fight, had to try and stop the Fiora, but that Call of the Forge God, as you said, you pile that on top of the Leona ult, maybe we're still playing that game. It's hard to say, but great job by both these teams. I know we need a break. They probably need a break as well, so we'll take one here on the NECC. We'll be back with game number 2 between Co-College and Bradley University right after this. Welcome back into the NECC. Fish and Sophia here, trying to keep our energy high after that marathon of a game number one here between Co-College and BU Shield in our Emergence Midwest Division. An absolutely insane game, 50 minutes long. Finally, Bradley able to secure the W. And we'll see, Sophia, if they can do it again, or if we have a game three on our hands between these two teams here.
We'll see, because as we mentioned, Bradley had a number of opportunities to finish that game earlier and not let Co-College get so close to a possible comeback. But we'll see, as you said, second game. I expect this to be from the both teams. From Bradley, I expect them to not let Co-College try to come around. And if they have a possibility to finish, I want them to finish. And from Co-College, I want to see more communication. And let's jump right into the draft. We have here Silly Zebra. The teams haven't changed sides, so we have Co-College on the blue side, Bradley on the red side. First ban is going to be Action once again, Fish.
The Action taking away the River this time. Was banned away last game. Taken away again against Spinal Art. A very, very massive Riven player. Pretty much their only top laner of choice. Over 200 games on it this season, but will not be able to see the Rip this time. I think the big thing is you talk about what you want to see. If Co-College, I want to see them maybe lean off the tanks a little bit. I felt like towards the end of that game, they needed one more source of damage on their side to be able to pick up the victory. So I want to see them go a little bit more tanky. And on the side of Bradley, I want to see what Stingray is going to do. Again, that Fiora kind of felt wishy-washy. I will say I like the Seraphine ban. O'Karen was insane on that Seraphine. And the set pick for Spinal Art, that's a different play already. I know it's tank set is probably maybe the way he's going to go, but I like the engage pick. I like that so much alongside whatever they're going to go with. I think it slots in perfect with what Orn did, so I think it's a good pick.
I think so too. I think so too, Fish. And we have Set coming from not only a little bit of tankiness, he can be, especially with that big old shield, but with damage. And that's what we were lacking. We have Petulia once again on Anivia. I think they performed really well. We have Maokai on the jungle against a Kayn. So once again, we have Bradley going for full damage. Volibear, we're on the top side with also damage, but tankiness as well. So, we have here a targeted ban for Silly Zebra right now. And she's not going to be able to play probably her comfy ADC on the bot lane.
I really like that MF ban. I think that Silly Zebra, she was phenomenal on that MF. It did a ton of damage. Absolutely love it. Now we can kind of see how we got to that Maokai pick. Of course, again, this was pro-drafted before, so no, they're not banning a Zac when there's already a jungler locked in. So the Zac taken away. I think the Trundle being taken away was very interesting, and that is I talked a little bit about it last series where, 80 carries are a dime a dozen. You ban one, you can pick another that does almost the same thing. Going from MF to Twitch is a very different style. The spray and pray, I guess, can kind of operate like the bullet time, but Silly Zebra is going to be able to position herself in these fights very, very particularly wherever she wants to be, is where she can come out of stealth. Probably would have liked to see them go with Twitch Yumi instead of Twitch Amumu, but I still think this bot lane for Co College is really, really strong right now.
I was expecting the Yumi with the Twitch. I think it would have been amazing. No Yumi bans have been spotted, neither in this game or the previous game. I would have loved to see a Twitch Lulu as well. I think it would super well. But, well, we'll see how much this is going to work. We, once again, rely on Silly Zebra having good positioning because Ezreal and Nautilus are confirmed in the bottom lane. And they shown to be so aggressive and so present in controlling the lane to guarantee early drakes, especially with a Kayn on their side now. I think it's going to be a super threat. Even though it's not a Yumi or a Lulu alongside Twitch, Amumu is tankier, has the CC as well. So it's kind of a possible relation to Leona. We have the AoE CC, we have a little more tankiness, but a different kind of playstyle, more similar to Nautilus in regards to hooks. So, well, I think once again, it would have to be Co College relying on Silly Zebra with the damage and positioning themselves well, and Bradley once again going for very aggressive certain picks with Ezreal and Nautilus. And well, as much as I love Misfortune and I was rooting for Co College in the last game, I agree with you, and Bradley seems to have a more solid comp in the second game, Fish.
Yeah, I am curious what Spinal Art will do on that set. If it's, more of the bruiser set, I do think that Co College definitely improved. If he goes more of the tanky set, and basically it's just going to be another meat shield, you do have the ult to kind of grab someone, throw them down in the middle of your team. I'm not going to be too happy with Co College's comp. I do want to see that bruiser set come out. I mean, it's a Riven player for Spinal Art, so put them on something that can play similar to a Riven, do some damage. Again, I like the Twitch, as you both and I agreed. Probably the Yumi might have been better suited. I think the one thing, though, that I'm going to be keeping an eye on is Bradley won a ton of fights off of Karin's Encore. 3-man, 4-man, stopping the bullet time. Seraphine gets banned away. The Corki is going to do probably the same or more damage with those rockets once you get to late game, but you're not going to have that CC that I think Bradley desperately relied on in game one. And that's my big concern, Sophia, is can they win without a Seraphine kind of basically carrying the team in team fights?
Yeah, we'll see. Because at this point we have, well, there's a Volibear that can jump on your head. That's possible. If a good ulti is placed, that would be massive for them. We have Nautilus once again, so who is also a player that played super well last game. But I agree with you, Seraphine was essential for Bradley last game, and I think that Corki, even though it's going to deal more damage, it's going to make for a different type of play style in regards to team fights. I don't think in regards to laning phase, but definitely towards team fights.
Well, with game two, we're about to load up onto the rift here between BU Shield and Co College. Sounds like you're going BU, looking for the sweep, Sophia. Is that where you're leaning after we saw our draft?
Well, to be fair, I love a third game, so there's always a possibility. But I think in regards to analyzing their comps and the way they played last game, I am leaning towards Bradley as Fish.
Oh man, I will say I do think the one thing, as I pointed out, I'm gonna go with Co College just because I think that Seraphine was the hidden MVP. I think O'Karin absolutely carried that team. And those encores won them team fight after team fight. And even with winning all those team fights, that game still took 50 minutes. So unless he gets super fed on the Corki, which again, this got 25 stacks on a Magi's on Seraphine at one point in that game, which is totally in the realm of possibilities. I think Coe College not having to deal with that encore think is going to be enough to throw them over the edge. But of course, that all is contingent on the set building damage. If set builds a tank item, I am off Team Coe College. I do not want to see 3 tanks. We'll have to see. The game has started, Sophia. Let's hop into the Rift. Who's going to take it home? Will it be BU with the sweep, or will Coe College get us to game number 3 in our final game of the night here for the NECC?
We'll see. And right now we have once again Patuli with Electrocute in the mid lane versus Okarin with now the first shot there. So first strike, yes. And it looks like they're going to go for aggressiveness once again. They are gathered here in the river. They are looking for a possible invade or just somebody getting out of position. And I think we're going to see Shi Youngman ganking this Anivia a lot, at least to take down the passive as quick as they can to guarantee that sort of pressure. I think maybe Okarin's going to be going for more of a pusher in the lane, crashing the wave as much as they can, going back to base, just really capitalizing on all the farm they get so they can come back to base quicker and faster. And they already have the tier, so I think that checks out. What do you think?
I think the one thing that I did want to point out, actually just noticed this, we actually have a substitute for Coe College on that Amumu. It's Duck God 21 in place of Maggie Yuri. So maybe that explains the Amumu pick. Maybe Duck God didn't want to play the Yuumi. Of course, some people would argue, how much do you really actually play Yuumi? But I am curious, is he coming in cold? Did he have some warm-up games? That's what I'm keeping my eye on, is if Duck God has maybe a slow start, that substitute is going to be a very interesting choice for the side of Coe College here with their back against the wall.
Yeah, and actually we have now an inverted choice of rooms in the bot lane for the supports. Duck God is using Glacial Argument now, whereas Binston, who was using that, is using the Aftershock. So I think they probably went for that because we have a Mumu here and Twitch. So differently from Misfortune, they're going to play maybe a slightly less targeted in taking the opponents down and more into pushing the wave and guaranteeing the CS. So we have here them really pushing, crashing the turret. They're probably going to go for deep wards here in the Tribush or in the river. But so far, everything as it looked in the last game. BU being aggressive and Coe College trying to farm their way out of things.
Oh, well, speaking of aggressive, Duck God is going to go in. Exhaust already going down on Red Dog King. They do get the root onto Duck God, so a bit of return fire this time. The Stingray also turned out a ton of damage here onto Spinal Art. Will eat the haymaker to the face. But yeah, that's the one thing, right? Early in game 1, Binston was just basically hooking Maggie Yuri on repeat. That Leona was getting whittled down. This time, not really able to whittle down that Amumu, and so Duck got a lot healthier. And I don't think BU's going to get a easy first blood like we saw in that last game.
Agreed. And I think they're going to go for the lane dominance and wave management more than the early kills here. We have already, they know BU that their jungler is on top path and is going towards mid here while Petulio is almost taking down Okarin. So close, but the ignite is not enough.
He flashed in tower rank too, took a tower shot. We'll see if Chi Young Man can at least proc the passive, but instead a great wall forces the Kane to flash as well. Bucko was roaming in on that. Maokai would have been able to CC. Of course, Maokai, one of Riot's newest projects, trying to get him back into the jungle with a couple of targeted buffs to help him with his jungle clear. And Bucko picking that one up here and seeing how it'll work. The Spinal Art taking a ton of damage. This Volibear has been just absolutely brutal for Set right now.
Stingray is really putting the damage down, and Bucko is continuing this push here. The hook lands, but they get a tower shot, and the hook back from Nautilus. Duck God has to flash away, and to me, it looks like a one fight for BU in this case.
Yeah, they do trade Flash for Ignite, but Duck God does have the Hex Flash, so he'll still have some mobility, but I agree with you, Sophia. That was a one fight. I mean, basically a repeat of what we saw last game, as you mentioned. The only difference is Duck God survived where Maggie Yuri died, and I mean, that is enough to at least keep this gold a little bit closer. It's still a decent lead as Stingray does take a tower shot here as Spinal Art once again getting shoved under tower. Does have that pit grip passive though, so he does have increased health regen the lower he is, but he'll just go for the reset. And so far, BU pretty much dominating this top and this bot lane, just like we saw in game number 1.
Yes, and I think that the difference here from last game, this bot lane, as you mentioned, the God not dying, so not giving the gold to BU here on the attempt from Bucko in a gank. I think that the difference there is the moment when the gank was made. So the other time when we saw Maggie Yuri going down on the Leona earlier in those ganks, even when it was a Bucko gank going on, it was because Ezreal was almost level 6. So as soon as they got level 6, the True Shot Barrage was online and taking down Leona. So I think the difference here is Bucko went for this gank earlier in the game, so that Very is still far away from level 6. So it makes it so Ezreal is not able to take so much damage on Duck God, and they end up surviving. But at the same time, I still feel like Bucko's being a little too aggressive when things aren't so much on their side, like compared to Ezreal and Nautilus. Mumu and Twitch don't have that much damage just yet, and against the Kayn either.
Kayn, he's our young man has already used his flash, and barely surviving. Can Bucko get in range for the twisted advance? He's gonna flash forward, toss the sapling into the brush. The sapling gets the slow, and it's first blood over to Bucko. They finally run down the Kayn, and that is a huge pick for Co-College. Oh, the dredge line just misses. Unfortunately, got caught trying to fight over that scuttle. He doing a great job landing these repeated stuns onto the Corki. He's going to Valkyrie forward this. Anivia is out of mana, but with that Maokai right there, I don't think there's any play that BU can make in the mid lane.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Man, while I was saying that Bucko made a couple of mistakes, they made some good choices there. A good rotation coming from Spinalard and Victulio in the mid lane for the river to take Kayn down was really, really good. As we know, Chi Young has a lot of pressure. They play aggressively, and talking about aggressively, the Stingray here has been on top of set, doing so much damage, taking down their health, pushing this wave so hard. So basically, I'm happy to see that Co-College made a good coordinated play there to take down Chi Young and guarantee that pressure around the Herald.
We are seeing the same kind of issues we saw in game number 1, however. You look at the top lane CS, it is well in favor of Stingray and BU, and we're also going to get another early dragon. BU did a great job early dragon stacking in game 1. Took them a while to finally secure that soul point, but they eventually did it, and it will be an Infernal Dragon over to them. So no Infernal this game, no Mountain Soul either, as Mountain's our next dragon spawning. So see if BU can keep up the early objectives as we rotate over maybe towards that Rift Herald. You see the pings going out on it, but so far, neither team really moving in that direction.
Yeah, I think BU took that opportunity because of the pressure on the bot lane to take that early Drake. They have the Infernal buff there, and they know that on the top lane, Stingray is doing a great job with pressuring on Spinal Art. They know they can be left alone and just perform well on their own. And at the same time, it was just a good play. Well, what would if that happened just quickly before my eyes?
A great ult by Stingray to turn the tower off. Meanwhile, we got the ult down bot lane from Bucko. They do find a route onto Bins to Churchill, but Nature's Grass not going to last long enough. Both players did survive in the top lane as well, but they get a great route onto Bucko, and he goes down. No Zac passive this time. Spray and Pray is popped. Silly Zebra's going to have to walk away, and once again, the BU bot lane picks up another kill. This time it does go over to the Nautilus, but they'll take that kill nonetheless in a 2-on-3.
Yes, they are. And that's what I was saying. Bucko just seems to be going too deep since last game on a couple of situations where you have to acknowledge when your bot lane is still not tanky. They're still not farmed enough to deal as much damage as you need to take down Red Dog King. You have to acknowledge that. You have to acknowledge that Vincent is not going down either. But Petulio is really going for a fight here on the mid lane. But Okarin is dealing so much damage back that there's nothing they can do. Silly Zebra going down with their auto from Red Dog King. Ulti down from Duck God. And they managed to escape.
And that ult from Duck God just a little bit too late. Meanwhile, we're going to get a 2-on-2 on the top side of the map. Stingray trying to jump onto Spinal Art. Spinal Art will flash under the tower. Throw out the Haymaker to get that shield. Bucko ended up running in Chung Yiman on that Kane. And will have to be forced away. And it looks like Spinal Art will also turn tail and run. Wards are going to give away the Volleybear's position just a little bit. So it will be a reset for both top laners. But so far, Spinal Art actually choosing to stay. He's been bullied a ton in this matchup. Oh, I don't know if Stingray knows that Bucko is hanging around just outside this topside river. He does have a ward there, but that twisted advance might be too quick. Stingray sees him on the ward. Oh, maybe he doesn't. This Bucko gonna get that twisted advance. Unfortunately, can't cue him in the right direction. Here comes the Nature's Grasp. They're gonna land onto Stingray. They get a great pullback in the tower. Going to be enough support, and the Volibear somehow stays alive.
Yes, they do. I think this was one of the best attempts in regular lane ganking that Bucko has done so far, but unfortunately, it's once again a case of not recognizing when your teammate doesn't have enough damage, and bot lane is going for a fight here already. The ulti dropped on Silly Zebra. They go invisible, and the Sure Shot Barrage knocking down Duck God there, making a 1-0 for BU on the bot lane.
Different support, same result, unfortunately. Red Dog King gets the snipe onto Duck God, as you mentioned. Great job by Silly Zebra using the Twitch stealth to try and outrun the depth charge there from Binston. Looks like we might even have a tower dive, but Bucko is rotating down. This could be very scary. The spray and pray has been popped, but it's just going to be an arcane shift away, and there will be no danger for the BU bot lane. As you mentioned, Bucko's got to be very careful he doesn't over-aggress and kind of give this lane over to Red Dog, who's already 2-0-1 right now on the Ezreal.
Yeah, and it is at least 1 or 2 kills, I believe, for the bot lane that were because of a miscalculated gank from Bucko. And they have to be careful because Ezreal, we know that Seraphine, or Karin on the Seraphine was definitely a highlight, but Ezreal was one of the biggest sources of damage on the side of BU. And interestingly enough, when we thought that Fiora last game on the hands of Stingray was going to be that one, Stingray is really being that right now.
Stingray uses the Stormbringer, turns off the tower, but then gets counter-ulted by Spinal Art. Tower turns back on, and Spinal Art picks up the kill. Stingray just got a bit too aggressive. It kind of hands with that lane momentum he had right back over to Set, because now Set's going to be able to farm, maybe pick up a turret plate. This is a huge win for Spinal Art and Kokala.
Yeah, great job on that ulti to deny Stingray that kill. Oh, Bucko once again. The ulti is dropped, but it's not enough there. They might go down really quickly. It is cleansed from Ezreal, but Duck God is almost falling behind just again.
The package from Okarin gets the great burn. Now they get another root onto Pete. The True Shot Barrage will proc the egg passive. Doing a great job with Spinal Art protecting his team. Now Anivia is back alive. Binston falls over. Did not underestimate the damage. Silly Zebra, though, has to be careful. Kane is on the back line. That's probably going to be a dead 80 carry. Spinal Art trying to stay alive. They pick up 2 more kills, and Anivia's out of mana. And this should be a second dragon going over to Bradley, though. Bucko has respawned after all of that. So maybe this dragon won't be so easy after all.
Yeah, maybe. They have just cleaned that ward there on the pit. But really good job coming from Shi Youngman on top of all that what was happening to really help that team. When Petuli is trying to take down Red Dog King, it's just out of reach. They have auto attacks, but they don't have range. Neither do they have mana. So Red Dog King is going to stay alive once again, now with a 4-0-2 and the second Drake of the game, the Mountain Drake for BU, guaranteed on top of all the results of that fight that just happened.
To get a Cloud Soul for this game, probably not something that BU was looking forward to, though, you know, Volley Bear and Corky for a little bit will appreciate some of the movement speed, so will Binston, but probably we're hoping something more, a little bit more impactful, maybe an Ocean Soul, Hextech Soul, something to really help secure this game for them. After last game's struggle to finish everything out, but nonetheless, they'll get that first tower as well for Stingray, and it's a almost 6K gold lead here, Sophia, 15 minutes in, so BU not really, you know, missing a beat after that long game. They're still pretty much ahead, just like we saw in game number 1.
They are pretty much ahead, and I think that the main difference is going to be that they keep that lead and don't waste it. They have to keep the lead and make good use of it, do the good calls on objectives as they have done, so they keep that up, and when they have an opportunity to take the game, to go to the GGs, that they actually do so. Because Code College really showed how much they are not giving up, how much they are willing to keep on fighting, and Bucko is going to fight for this Herald here.
Humble Trust Pass there, Showstopper gonna slam down Youngman, but unfortunately Spinal Art goes down, Bucko will fall as well. Herald should go over to BU here, and it will. It looks like it is going to be picked up, and now scary spot here for D. Leo. Gonna get caught out of the Zanyas. He's not gonna dodge the skill shots this time. Duck God will fall as well. It's a 4-for-0 in the Rift Herald pit, and BU off to an awesome start here. Gonna get a tier 1 mid and a tier 2 mid just 17 minutes into the game.
Yeah, 17 minutes, and they're gonna take this so easily. It really seems like they saw what they were doing wrong in the last game, which was maybe giving Code College a little too much space to fight back, so they're not doing that now. And they not only took the 2 turrets mid, but also look at the damage Herald put to this inner turret as well. It really is a great start for BU. As you said, less than 20 minutes on the clock. All of them with CS advantage. The KDA looking nice and sharp, especially for Okarin and Red Dog King, with no deaths, either of them. So, Fish, what do you think would be a comeback, a possibility of comeback for Code College now?
I think for Code College, they're going to have to find ways to play around Duck God. If he's, I mean, that Curse of the Sad Mummy, if you can, you know, CC down Okarin, if you can CC down Stingray, you're going to have decent follow-up damage from Silly Zebra once they get that Mythic item online with the Spray and Pray. Spinal Art did end up going more of that Bruiser set build, finishing their Blade of the Rune King first. So they've really got to play around Duck God. I mean, they need to be the initiators in these fights because there's not a lot of tankiness on the side of BU outside of Winston. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities yet, but they've probably got to win the next team fight, whether it's this next Dragon, whether it's around a Baron in 6-7 minutes from now. Code College just cannot afford to keep bleeding team fights because right now their map is being taken. I mean, there's already almost 4 towers down for BU, and we're not even at 20 minutes yet.
Yeah, definitely, Fish. I think that it really comes down to Code College winning a possible next fight. And talking about that, the true shot oh my god, the flash onto the, oh, I can't believe all of that happened in the span of less than a second, Fish.
I thought for sure he was going to win that fight, but Spinal Art can't quite win it. Fails to flash over the wall as well, and now we get a re-engage bottom side. Silly Zebra going to get that depth charge, just trying to disengage. There's that Curse of the Sad Mummy, though. Humble Trust Pass going to be used from Youngman. It ends up not being enough to get the kill, and he goes down as Tito Leo does rotate. Meanwhile, though, the base is being sieged. Okarin can't pipe kick up the kill onto Silly Zebra. She will flash away to stay alive. But I think this is a trade that BU's kind of okay to make because as you see there, the middle of your screen, MLB Red Dog King is almost able, actually I think he was able to pick up that mid inhibitor turret. So that mid inhibitor is now open and exposed with 19 and a half minutes on the clock, and those super minions are going to be very, very hard to kill for College.
I gotta say, so much happened there. Let's go one thing at a time. We had that good old fight on the top here, Stingray versus Spinal Arts. I was just so impressed with the dodge that they have been able to pull off. I don't know if that was intentional, but Spinal Arts with the ulti on Stingray were so great on dodging that true shot barrage. Unfortunately, they hit the flash straight onto the wall and they ended up falling as well. But we had action on a bot lane as well that leaded up to Red Dog King being healthy enough to push on mid lane, for Stingray to also do the same on top. So they have pretty much, aside from bot lane, an open base there up into the inhibitor towers, and they just managed to get this third Drake here. No contest, nothing, no difficulty there, and BU is really putting the advantage so strongly on taking down this game in their favor.
It's okay, Rin didn't have to burn the package there for really nothing. Unfortunately, it was about to time out. As you see the spray and pray though, popped by Silly Zebra, so that ult will be on cooldown, but should come back in time for the next major fight. The Cloud Drake was picked up by BU, so they are now looking at a potential 25 minutes soul. Though again, Cloud Dragon not the most exciting soul if you're BU and company. But okay, we're doing a ton of damage already on this Corki. He's going to Valkyrie away from that Anivia wall. And these rockets, now that he's got 2 items, looking to finish that third one, they're going to do a ton of damage, Sophia. And it's not the Encore CC, but these rockets are going to just provide as much poke as he had in that last game.
Yeah, the amount of CC Seraphine have been able to put out, Okaran is doing that on damage. The rockets are really hurting already, as you said, 2 items there. And the advantage in kills, assists, and farm really is making BU be on top of that game. That 10k almost go ahead compared to College. So I believe that if BU gets to constantly output this sort of pressure and good calls, they have a wrap up for themselves. But College has to be smart about their positioning, and this is not it.
That is the opposite of smart. Unfortunately for Petulio, does get caught out there, didn't have the wards on Vincent. I have to say, this is probably a Baron call if you're BU, because again, we've been in this spot before. 22 minutes into game 1, the gold lead was about 10k for Bradley. Unfortunately, it took them another 30 to secure that game, so I want to see them finish off this game, start maybe trying to burn down that mid inhibitor with this Baron that you're going to pick up. It's completely uncontested. You also have the top tier 2 tower being taken care of by Stingray. Maybe try and get 2 inhibitors at the same time. That should kind of look to end the game a little bit faster. Is okay, we're going to throw out the damage. This set, again, more of the bruiser set, so not very tanky, and we'll just simply have to walk away from this Corki.
Yeah, they will. These rockets are hurting, especially when they have a Baron buff, buffing those minions there. Stingray is already on the top buff, pushing as much as they can because they know that they can't give College any opportunity of winning, and the flash is gone. 3 people on Stingray, they have to ulti away, but is it going to be enough? Shielding, whoa! Red Dog King joining the party. Stingray is still alive. Well, just as I said it, they are not stunned on Red Dog King. Ulti from Maokai, and the fight keeps on going.
Oh, the Anivia egg does proc, so they're not going to be able to pick up the kill there, and a massive mistake. They do get at least a 1 kill on a Duck God. Winston will go down, and that's the first mistake we've seen from Bradley. They are going to look for a dive here onto Spinal Art, and they'll get that one with ease, but they trade 1 for 3 and lose 3 Barons in the process. That's not what you wanted to have happen if you were BU, if you're looking to avoid another 50-minute marathon game.
Unfortunately, it is the same thing that we saw from them the last game. They got that Baron and they thought, yes, we're invincible, we're going in. Okay, you are on top, you are leading, but you still have to think your way onto those plays. You cannot just go in and wait for things to go well because you have more damage and you have a Baron buff. You have to remember that even with all of those things, if you are outnumbered, you're most likely going to die. If you get picked off and you are outnumbered, you're definitely going to die. So, unfortunately, as you said, 3 Baron buffs are off the table as we have 20 seconds on the clock for the next Cloud Drake, and people are gathering here on the bottom river. Set is actually top, but they do have teleport online. And let's see how these two teams are going to play off this Drake fight.
The Maokai ult come through. Bucko, though, is going to get caught out. A great true shot barrage lands onto Silly Zebra. Hits her to half health. Bucko goes down. Silly Zebra is the next target. This should be a kill onto the Twitch. Oh, they have to pop the Volibear off. The Stormbringer gets it done.
Oh!
They do lose Kane in the process, so this Dragon's a bit more open with both junglers down, but it looks like they're going to try and run down Spinal Art. Tulio, remember, does not have that Anivia egg form. One rocket gets them low. So Kayron's going to back off, and this looks like this will be a Cloud Soul picked up here for BU. And they're going to have all the advantage heading into this late game here.
They are, and compared to last game, 15-minute game and a victory for BU. Now we have that soul being guaranteed at 26 minutes, so half the time they have secured that. And as you said, I think they've only done one mistake so far, which was that too aggressive of a push, but they still managed to win the fight. Once again, unfortunately, we saw Bucko, I think, going a little too deep, a little too aggressive when they really have to recognize their limitations as that champion and as that team comp and state in the game fish.
Yeah, it feels like Bucko's maybe still a little bit used to that Zac passive, the ability to kind of come back to life if he dives too far in, because, yeah, the Maokai has the, the healing from the passive, but it has not been nearly enough. The sap magic not been enough to keep him alive so far. Only has those 2 items as well, so just not that tanky. There's a Baron up in 2 minutes, but again, this is kind of what we talked about at the end of last game. This is where BU needs to kind of show what they learned. Can they finish out their game? You've got 7 towers down. Every tier 1 and tier 2 tower is down. The mid inhibitor tower is also down. But can you find a way to cleanly end this game? Because they get caught out, as you mentioned, Sophia. They can't quite find winning team fights. They've got to be careful, or we could be in front of the marathon. And Silly Zebra does get hooked. Dredgeline's going to come out as well, but nobody's in range. Finally, 3-man Curse of the Sad Mummy, though, will at least save their AD carry as Duck God pays the support tax with their life.
I love that expression. That I will use that in the future. Red Dot King, even though they didn't take down Silly Zebra, the troops are barrage hit. It was not enough damage. And right now we have all of them crowding on these inhibitor turrets, on top of the inhibitors. Spinalot is falling very quickly. They go down. Bucko so close to dead as well. And the package is coming in.
Jaren teleports her base with the package, gets 1. The Anivia egg will only prolong the death of Tito Leo as he will go down as well. Bucko going to throw himself into the fight. I think this time, there's no question about it. They're going to end the game. It only took them 30 minutes this time, and Bradley gets it done. They 2-0 Co-College, and they start out the NECC season with a 1-0 record. And they learned how to finish the game this time, Sophia, as they finish it in what really is record time.
Yeah, if we compare that to last game, absolutely record time, Fish. And really nice to see that the things that we pointed out, of course, they're not watching us, they're paying attention to that game. But good to see that the things that we pointed out really be precise and concise on how they should act to finish the game and not prolong it, giving the opponent an opportunity to come around. So they really executed that well. 30 minutes of a game, really quick. one mistake that we can highlight coming from them. Unfortunately, it wasn't a good that of a good day for Co College. But as we know, it's the first week of the
Mhm.
season. There's still so many matches to be played within each division and within each conference. So there's plenty of time, but definitely nice to see that Bradley College managed to get that 1-0, a gooder advantage here on the first week. And yes, it guarantees them the win of this best of three fish.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly, Sophia. Right there, not too many things you can complain about. Bradley, they definitely took that break to heart to kind of figure out how to finish out the game, as you said. Maybe just being a little more cautious once you get that Baron and on the side of Coe College. Yeah, I think they're still trying to figure out what comp works for them. I thought the set was interesting. It honestly felt like at the end of the day, the triple tank comp, excuse me, worked a little bit better. But as you said, still trying to figure things out. I mean, you have the substitute coming in, Duck God, so you're still trying to work out your team comp. So overall, big congratulations to BU picking up the win. And Sophia, before we get out of here, your final thoughts on what we have between these two teams and what we're going to see going forward here in the NECC after week number 1.
Oh, yes, 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 we are. So, as you all know, we have here NECC2. We're covering Emergence, so we cover Navigators as well today.
Mhm.
We have the main channel covering higher tiers as well. So, if you want to watch those, we're all going to be broadcasting those matches along the week. Of course, on Wednesdays, today is the day for League of Legends, but the whole week we have games happening. And broadcasted on both our channels. So this is going to be hella fun. I'm so
Mhm.
excited to keep being a part of this. It has been a pleasure working with you for the first time. I'm very happy. And yeah, we hope to see you guys here next week. Do you have anything more to shout out or add, Fish?
I mean, I think the only thing I got is congratulations to NIU, who we saw win our first game on the channel, and then congratulations to Bradley picking up the wins. And of course, congratulations to everybody. We cannot wait to see how the NEC season goes. As Sophia mentioned, make sure you come back here next Wednesday for more League of Legends action. We will see you guys all in a week.